You know, Dane, I rarely say this, but hear me now and believe me later. Why didn't we say that to Arnold? That's one of the funniest ones.
I know. Well, he loves it. That was fun. We get to really talk about Hans and Franz with Arnold. And it is funny and fun to do an Austrian accent to Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could flick you with your little finger and you fly across the room and land in your own baby poop.
He made me laugh. He was such a warm, fun guy, likes comedy. He knew a lot of our stuff. He also recited a lot of his catchphrases. Wasn't that fun to hear him do it?
Yes, we talked about Girly Man and how people said when he was governor of California, he would call people girly men, and we talk all about that. And he loved the sketch. He's such a great sport. He's a great storyteller. He really, I heard a lot of stories I'd never heard before about how he got his start in Hollywood. And
he's got a book out with a lot of great, very interesting stories.
Yeah, be useful and
very positive thinking.
Positive thinker, hard worker, and the way he articulates, it's not his accent or anything anymore. It's just he makes things very clean and very simple. You have to get up every morning and be the hero of your life. You do things that are uncomfortable. You go toward the pain, and that's where all the good stuff is. With pain you get stronger. And he is hypnotic really to listen to.
Mm-hmm. The person who makes his bed is 78% more successful in life. I'm like, true? He's like, I just made that up. It sounds good though.
First you get up, you put water on the face to wake up the brain. And then
splash.
Then you put toothpaste on the toothbrush. And
on
you
the toothpaste
to rub it against the teeth to get the freshness. And then you do 100 sit-ups.
I go circular on my teeth. That's just me. But yeah, he was so fun. And then he did, the catchphrases are funny. And also he liked that we were both not out of shape. Remember that?
He asked us, and we're not making how do you fellas stay so lean? So he's asking us. Lean. I go, what? We're actually kind of tiny. But then at that point I thought, well, I'm going to do 10 push-ups for Arnold and have him comment on it. So you'll have to stay tuned to see what happens.
The end. You got to hang in there. Wait for it.
Wait for it. Don't pull off and finish it because you're going to.
Even though when in a normal Instagram, when it says wait for it, I say go die. I'm not waiting for anything. Don't tell me what to do.
Right.
Because it's like 8 seconds or 4 seconds. Wait for. I'm here. Wait. What am I waiting for? I'm watching it. All right. Well, here's before I go on that tangent. Here's Arnold. We had a blast with it, and go buy his book. It's a good book.
And we did it live at his incredible office building complex. Arnold has just walked into the building.
He goes, you know me.
I see.
What?
Already.
Not only lions get out of their cages.
A long time ago. Don't say anything if you don't have anything positive to say.
So it'll be kind of quiet.
What is this? He's got wires all over. Let me do your trick. It's a little tiny.
How long have you guys been doing this?
This
18 months.
18 months?
Is that right?
Yeah.
And how did you end up together?
I met him before SNL, believe it or not, in the 80s at the clubs and stuff.
80s? Jesus.
Well, whatever. And then I moved back down to LA and we started hanging out. And then I had a little podcast I was doing. He came on. Then our manager said, you got to do this. So
yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great idea because I think it creates more energy if you have two people
it does.
Kind of back and forth type of thing.
Makes it a lot
It's
easier.
a lot better, yeah. It makes it go quicker, and he's pretty smart. And we both know a lot of the same people. This guy is. And
it happens. Sorry, Arnold. You're smart too.
Oh, man.
Let me tell you.
I mean, it's really... I think this is the first one that we are doing with comedians.
That's a fun one.
Am I right?
Yeah.
First podcast, yeah. Because, I mean, you guys made me laugh.
Let me tell you.
More often than anything. I mean, when
Conan's a comedian.
You know, Conan.
Not as funny as we are.
Yeah. I mean, sort of.
Conan's
but I don't see Conan as much as a comedian.
Well, he's not a stand-up, but he's funny.
But in general, because
Yeah.
I know him more as a host
Right.
of a very popular
Talk
kind
show.
of a talk show, right?
Yeah.
And I have done his show several
Yes.
times, but they're not as a stand-up comedy and all this. But I
Right.
mean, we have all known each other on a personal level.
Yeah.
And have had a lot of fun together on the personal.
Oh, yeah.
And then you, of course, you guys came to the White House.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, we're doing the Hans and Franz thing.
We
to
did
entertain-
them.
because we had this great American workout,
Yes,
which was
I
kind of
remember.
like a copy of what Kennedy used to do
Mm-hmm.
in the White House. Because all the other presidents really never really capitalized on this idea of President's Council on Physical Fitness and Sports, right?
Right.
Created under Eisenhower, but then Kennedy made it kind of
The
become a
50-mile
reality.
walk.
I did
exactly,
that
yeah.
in school. It was when I was
Yeah,
in
I
sixth
know.
grade. It was like 50 push-ups, pull-ups. You did all that.
That's
it made
right.
you stay in
you
shape.
got a medal when you
Yeah.
could do
Yeah.
certain things. And so what happened is that we had now the event, the Great American Workout at the South Lawn of the White House.
Yes.
But you don't just want to make it a fitness event, right? And make it boring. So we wanted to make it hip. So we asked them, Hans and Franz had
These
to
two
come to
idiots,
the White
yeah.
House and entertain the people and the kids and everybody. And they made everyone laugh and howl. And it was just huge. And it got us also, because of them, great ratings.
Yeah, good press.
And so all the press was there. And, they were like the big shots from Saturday Night Live. And
Yeah.
Hans and Franz still looking for, Uncle Arnold. And all of that
And we
kind
walked
of stuff,
around and just berated
walk around,
everyone.
exactly.
Don't undo your belt, you might cause a flammable.
Yeah, and then flip everyone through the air to land in their own baby poop.
That was one of
exactly.
the best. That
Yeah.
that and your buttocks are like marshmallows. You're lucky I don't have a campfire here.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
they're threatening to burn someone.
Well, Hans and Franz was so funny. It was so great when you did it. You didn't
Now-
host, right? You just came
Yeah,
on.
I was on SNL. I was a
Yeah.
guest. He invited me to come to
Yeah.
the show and to be a guest there. And with Danny DeVito. One
Yes.
time I was there with Danny DeVito.
Yes, and Danny
when he
was the
came out
pit
with
bull.
twins.
Yeah. And he was like, trying to attack
Yeah,
the audience.
exactly,
You were
yeah.
holding him back.
Right.
But we didn't know how you were going to react. We started doing it and we hear Arnold's coming. Arnold's coming. And then they said, Arnold's waiting down the hall. This is in 8H in New York.
Yeah.
So Kevin and I are a little nervous. We went in and you're in some chair and you lean back and you go, how do I do the accent again, fellas?
Right.
And then we knew you loved it.
Well, no, but to me it was heaven, because you have to understand that when I first wanted to get into acting, one of the first things they said was, it won't work. No one in America has ever made it that had an accent. No one could be a leading man or anything
is
like
tough,
this. It says
yeah.
it's very tough to do. People want to hear someone talk like John Wayne, like Clint Eastwood, and or Al Pacino. This were the guys, So anyway, so then I realized that I had to kind of make the accent actually something, not to hide it, but to actually make something
Yes,
of it. But then out of
accentuate it,
nowhere, without me controlling it, they came along and they legitimized it, because now there was someone that actually took that subject of accent and had a good time with it. Not to make fun of it, but to actually entertain people with it and to do it overboard. And so all of a sudden, from that point on, it became much more accepted, the whole thing, and it really became much easier for me.
Oh, I didn't even know
and
that.
it's also
but-
comedy, and you doing a lot of action. It's good. Now you're involved in comedy. It's just one more thing in the comedy field
Right.
that people think of you, and then it's funny.
And it's also
Yeah.
you were in on the joke. You were inside the tent.
Absolutely. No, I
and
loved
we're all
it.
having fun.
I always had
Yeah.
a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
And he always was the first one to be able to make fun of myself
Yeah.
and of my situation, the body, coming from Germany, all of this
Right.
kind of stuff, the German
the
accent.
flabby little puny arms
Exactly, yeah.
and the little girly man, which girly man was to me was just like, gym talk. Like you look, your little puny arms, you look like a girly man.
Yeah.
And then when you became governor, sometimes you would use that to describe the legislatures, right?
Yeah.
You would use some of it, that a bunch of girly men. Or how-
Exactly. So I would go on and say, that we should sign this bill. But, the legislators up there in Sacramento, they're such girly men. They're afraid to do the hard work and all this stuff. And they were really offended by the whole thing. So I actually stopped it, because I said, I want to work with those guys. I didn't mean it in a negative
Right.
way. I just wanted to actually, I didn't want to insult them. I actually wanted to just entertain the crowd.
Right.
I was out in the shopping mall and I was like telling to the people, I said, be with me, like vote for those initiatives that are coming up in November. I said, I have to take it directly to you, the initiatives, because this girly man in Sacramento wouldn't go for it. And they were laughing, that day when I went back to Sacramento. How could you call us girly man? This is not fair, for you to do. I said, I'm sorry, I didn't want to offend you.
Yeah, to me, it was just silly. The New York Times called me and tried to get me to explain what it meant. And to me, it was just two guys lifting weights in a gym teasing each other.
Yeah.
There was no homophobic undertones
No,
at
not
all.
at all. But today, you have to
Of
be so
course.
careful when you say all this stuff.
If you say
Yeah,
baby man, you little
everything.
baby, and then they're like, why is that against babies? And
Yeah,
you're like,
exactly.
Yes, as a baby man.
But what I like is we were saying, you as a politician are one of the few that you were putting humor in, and it does
Yeah.
make people listen.
Yeah,
Because
exactly,
It
You
yeah.
did it
it's not
before
so
Trump.
boring.
Yeah.
You had nicknames for foes and stuff.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
You came out of the box as a breath of fresh air in California, like the anti-politician telling it like it is. I remember your first debate, I think, was they tax us when we go to the bathroom in the morning. They tax us when we're driving our cars. They tax, and it was such a
When you have a
compelling.
cup of coffee, they tax.
They
When
tax,
you go to the
they
gas
tax, you know.
station. Yeah, tax, like morning, noon, and night, taxing.
But that made you stand out. But anyway, so your book, I read it.
It's called, you don't know this, but it's called Be Useful, 7 Tools for Life.
Yes, your ghostwriter.
I'm going to read you one chapter. No, I'm kidding.
This, by the way, this is true. Chapter 1. Oh, you have the book.
Oh, fuck yeah, I do. I got questions. I got books.
My
I got
brother and
everything.
I've got 3 older brothers. We have this thing that we used to say for
All
years.
registered girly men.
We would always say, what would Arnold do when we're up against any kind of challenge or something negative? I'm not kidding. What would Arnold do? Because I noticed now I'm just because I'm with you, I'm talking with a slight
so
Austrian
funny.
accent the whole time. But I'm always thinking, what would Arnold do in this situation? Which would always be positive. Always. So I'm not surprised at all you wrote this book.
Book is a lot about positivity, pretty much overall.
Yeah, it's about how can anybody, no matter who you are and where you are in the world, be more successful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And because there's just certain things that hold us back, and it's simple things sometimes, like the fear of failure, or picking little goals rather than big goals, and whatever it is, or listening to the naysayers, whatever it may be. As I say, I'm trying to go through this in this book and to just tell people, here there's 7 rules. I could put 15 rules in there, but since the publisher said that they should have no more than
7.
260 pages, so we made
Yeah.
it. We kept it in that kind of a framework. But in any case, it's basically just simple rules and tools that will help people to become more successful and more free and more able to kind of like go and expand and follow their dreams. And how do you create a dream for yourself? How do you create a vision for yourself and all that? So that's what I get into in the book.
I think lately there's sort of a victim card being played too much, and it's nice to have refreshing old school. There's a chapter, work your ass off. It's just very basic, but it's not what people say out there as much anymore.
Yeah, but I talk about exactly what I did. When I came over to this country, I was into working.
Mm-hmm.
I was not shying away from working. I say, I'm willing to work, even though I was a Mr. Universe several times over, and Mr. World
7?
and Mr. Olympia 7 times.
Jesus.
Not at that point. In the early 70s, I was like 5 times Mr. Universe, Mr. World, Mr. International, and 2 times Mr. Olympia. So now
there was
I said
nowhere to
that
Well,
go.
you're already at the top of your game.
it was kind of like in bodybuilding there was no money. We didn't make any money.
It's like Miss America.
Right.
So it was like
It's
one
great.
of those crazy things. We had to make a living. So, I started a mail order business to kind of like sell booklets on how to train your biceps and your chest and all of those kind of things.
So with 20
But it's-
steps to do that.
That's right. So, but the thing is still, we need to let's go out and work. So my friend Franco Colombo,
Yeah.
the bodybuilding
I remember
champion,
him.
Remember him very
he
well
was-
and loved you and him together.
That's right. Yeah.
Which is so
he
funny.
he was a bricklayer,
Mm-hmm.
professional masonry worker. Learned it in Italy, in Sardinia, then continued working in Germany. That's where I met him. And so when he came over here and we kind of always trained together, I said to Franco, Franco, you're a masonry worker, you're a bricklayer. Why don't we start a bricklaying business?
Mm-hmm.
I said, in America, they love this European bullshit. I said, so we call it as an Italian masonry expert.
Yeah.
And we put a little ad in the LA Times. Well, the next day, after we put this ad in, beyond our knowledge, an earthquake happened.
Expectation.
So the earthquake happened. It's 1971.
So then business explodes.
So all of a
'cause the whole
sudden now
town
the
collapsed.
chimneys fall down, the patios, the
Timing's
walls,
everything.
And you had nothing to do with
so
it?
now we started getting. It's funny. Nothing to do with it. but anyway, the next thing I know is we get all these phone calls. Can you come out and give me an estimate how to rebuild my chimney and how to rebuild my fireplace, how to do my patio? I have a huge crack going through the whole patio, and we cannot continue like that. Blah blah blah. So Frank and I started going out and doing estimates. And of course, we were not really experienced in all this stuff. Sure. So we just started, measuring the stuff. And then we had always arguments about, I was always kind of like the good guy. He was the bad Italian who always charges too much. And then I would say, this is outrageous, Frankie. You cannot charge $7,600 for this stuff. We can do it cheaper than that. No. And then we started in German. And in Italian, we started arguing. No one understood what we were saying. And we were just imagining. I said to the guy, I wouldn't say to the customer, I said, well, I got him down now, finally. So we can do it for $5,000. And they said, thank you so much. And they hugged me. Yeah. And then we did the job. And all this.
How do you teach street smarts like that? One is the Italian name in the paper, and then the collapsing. But then this whole song and dance, that's just like street smarts. Or what would you call that IQ?
Well, but remember that when I was in school, I was an apprentice in selling.
Oh, so you
so when I was 15 years old, instead of going to go on to a university career or anything like this, I learned to be a salesperson. And so I was kind of an apprentice for 3 years, and I learned how to sell. Yeah. So sell. This is, and I have one of the chapters in the book that is in there, because I realized of how important selling is. So the art of selling was, in this case, was when I go to a customer and he says, can you tell me how much it costs to redo this chimney? It sounds better if you go like you do in the store, 50% off.
Yes, no matter what.
But first they add the 50% and then they give you 50% off. So so my idea was, I said, I measured it out and I said to Frank, I said, I think it would cost us, by the time we buy the material, which will be $2,000, our workmanship, it would take us a week to do this, $1,500 each is $3,000. So that's $5,000. So then Frank said, yeah, $5,000, we can do it. So then I would go to the guy and says, he wants $7,800. And the guy would freak out and say, oh my God, I don't know if I can afford this. This is like outrageous. I said, well, let me work on it. And so I would go to Frank, and then all of a sudden we would have this screaming match in the corner.
Oh, this is outrageous. Big show.
Das ist zu teuer. Das ist überhaupt nicht so viel Arbeit. Blah, 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 blah. And then in Italian and all of this stuff. And then the next thing is I go back to the guy and says, I brought him down to $5,000. The guy said, oh, thank God. Thank God. Oh. And they will hug me, and then we get the job. So this is, it's about, so we gave them a good deal, but we also kind of sold the idea that they got a special deal.
Did you do physical work or just sort of?
No. I was the guy that was mixing the cement and the sand and the water. Skill. So I picked up the mixer at the construction place where you rent construction equipment, and I picked it up with my car. They put it on in the back. And I took it to the construction site.
You just used blenders to save money?
And I just, exactly.
Did they notice how pumped up you guys were?
Yeah.
Did they comment on it?
Did you comment on the song, on the Speedos?
And what did you say?
We said we're bodybuilders. And they said, but why we really didn't want to say that we have to work for a living. We just said, look, we have two choices. One of the things is, I lost one of the Mr. Universe contests because I didn't have enough of a tan.
So that's why you're out there?
I said, which was in Florida, which is really true. One of the reasons was I didn't have a tan. The other one was I was a little bit too chubby. I didn't know I wasn't cut enough.
Like
exactly.
4% body fat.
That's right.
So anyway, I said, I lost my bodybuilding competition because I didn't have enough of a tan. Yeah. I said, that will never, ever happen again.
Right.
I said, so now not only am I training every day on Muscle Beach down there in Venice Beach, on the weightlifting platform. I said, but I want to work out here. We rip off the shirt and we work outside because then you get the natural tan all over the place.
Yeah.
You get brown. I said, and then this way how we can win. So this is why we work a few hours every day in the sun.
Right.
You give
And
them
so
that long
this was one of the rap. I said, and he happens to be a bricklayer, an outstanding bricklayer from Italy. He did all the special masonry work, even worked in the Vatican.
And the work was good.
Yeah,
So-
basically built the Vatican.
So I don't want to jump ahead here, but then is the biggest selling point you did, and how did you apply this to selling yourself to Hollywood?
Yeah, Hollywood.
Not wanting to play the second or third lead, but starting at movie star.
Yeah, did you not do any
Small
what
parts?
most people do is small part, or
Yeah,
you went right to Conan?
No, I did, but my goal was to be a leading man.
Yeah.
So I remember, for instance, Lucille Ball would call me
Jeez.
and say I was at Gold's Gym working out, and she saw me on the Merv Griffin show.
Arnold.
And she said, she called me.
Arnold, this is Lucy
Exactly,
Ball.
that's right,
It's
yeah.
got a little bit of
Yeah.
smoking, yeah.
That's right.
I met her.
And so she says, I saw you on the Merv Griffin show. I want you to come in and read for this part Joe Sandow, which is a masseur from Italy. There's an Italian accent, but most people don't know the difference between a German accent and an Italian accent, blah, blah, blah. Come on in and read. And so I would go in there and I was saying, oh my God, there's a TV show with Art Carney, Lucille Ball.
It's huge.
Art Carney just won the Academy Awards and all that stuff. So this was like really big. So I went in there and she opened up the script and said, read this part. But I had no idea what that means. So so she says, well, I need to come in and, my back hurts. And she says, how do you know how to massage? And I said, my name is Joe Sandow, and I am from Italy. I'm a truck driver from Italy. And in Italy, every truck driver also does massages. And she says, oh, wait.
Yeah, you went to my acting.
She says, let's go and take the script away.
Yeah, no
She
script.
says,
better.
the idea of it is this, blah, blah. So she explained to me the idea. And then she asked me some questions.
Right.
And then I would just say, yeah, I say, I'm from Italy. I'm a truck driver. And my name is Joe Sandow. And of course, in Italy, everyone does massages. And then she was like laughing. And everyone else was laughing.
Right.
And then she says, you see, guys, I told you he will be good. I mean, he's not used to the script idea and the reading idea, but I mean, by the time we shoot this next Friday, he will be perfect. I promise you guys that. And are you here ready to be here every day for rehearsal? And I didn't even know what rehearsal meant.
Oh, God.
But in any case, but the bottom line, I said, yeah, whatever you want me to do, I do. And so I came every day. I worked with her every day. She was very patient. And we shot then on Friday. And she kept saying, and you need to project more. You need to project more because we're shooting live. So I had no idea what live meant. I had no idea what that meant. So anyway, we rehearsed, and then we shot this scene that I'm ringing the doorbell. The green light lights up at the door. And I open out the door. She opens up the door. And she says, you are the masseur? And I say, yeah, I'm the masseur. She says, come on in. And so I go in there, and all of a sudden, huge applause.
Oh, my God. You don't know that there's people
So now
there.
I'm standing with my massage table, and I'm looking out like this, staring out. I'm in shock. I'm frozen.
First time
I'm
heard
frozen.
Like
So this is not what
Brady.
the scene's supposed to be frozen.
Right.
You come in there and to be like this Italian flamboyant guy that opens up the massage table professionally, chuck, boom, flips it open and says, lie down.
Now you're just
So
frozen.
and I'm not standing there like this, totally frozen. And then she says, what, on the massaging me? Get the table set up. So she immediately
Oh, she
saw what
played
was
off
happening.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, totally. And then so I said, oh, yeah, exactly. And the applause continued on. So I flipped the table over. And now, of course, I only had the tank top on. So I had like the big guns hanging
Yeah.
out and the whole thing.
Did
like
you get
this.
applause
But
for the
anyway,
guns?
it was fantastic, the whole
Yeah.
thing. Art Carney came in the
worked
middle of
out.
the scene.
Oh,
good.
The whole thing was like a 7-minute scene, and it played like a jewel. I remembered all my lines. She said it was fantastic. And then I tell you something. From that moment on, Lucy Ball, as long as she lived, she always wrote me a letter.
Hmm.
Every movie that I did after that.
Oh.
She saw me on Streets of San Francisco to play a guest starring role, which I got after that 2 years later.
Mhm.
She saw Stay Hungry, but that came out with
yeah.
Barbara Aferson. That
Awesome.
he directed with Jeff Bridges and Sally Fields. She wrote me a letter. I'm so proud of you. Arnold, you're fantastic. I knew you had this potential. You're going to be a big star. I mean, what a sweetheart of a woman. As tough as she was.
Yeah.
Everyone knows she was one of the toughest women
Yeah.
in town. And Art Carney could tell you that because she kind of directed the show, even though she was not the director. And then Gary Morton, who was her husband, could also tell you how tough she was.
She ran
I
the
did
whole
a-
studio. I mean,
I
she's,
did a
Yeah.
pilot with Desi Arnaz Jr. called Whacked Out, and we're doing the pilot. Audience is there, and we're really bombing. I mean, it's silent. And all of a sudden, I hear a voice from the bleachers going, "What's wrong with you people?" So Lucille Ball had grabbed the microphone and was yelling at the audience, "This is funny." Then the whole audience flipped out, made a big line, and it took an hour and a half for everyone to get her autograph.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
you know, for her to
Yeah.
take time to do that with you is pretty nice because she could have just said, tough reading, get out, next. But
Absolutely.
to work with you and to be that big of a star and get you going. And that was really
She-
probably one of the
yeah.
biggest things, even just confidence wise.
Yeah.
No, but I, as much as people were negative about the idea of a muscle guy getting into movies, because what they felt kind of the 60s, the era of the Hercules
Steve
movies.
Reeves, was that played
Steve
Hercules?
Reeves and
Yeah.
Reg Park and
Yeah.
Mark Forrest and Lou Degny and, Gordon Mitchell and all those guys.
They're kind of
Paul Winter.
bad movies or
Yeah,
B movies.
They were
Yeah.
they were not significant movies,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Indies.
for me,
Mhm.
big, because when
Yeah.
I was 15 years old and I saw Steve Reeves and Reg
Yeah.
Park on the screen, I said, oh my God, can you believe bodybuilders then become leading men in movies?
It's a long shot, though.
That was my motivation
Yeah.
to get into bodybuilding. I said to myself, oh, then I can be an actor. So then I go to Hollywood, there's Muscle Beach, and there's Hollywood. So you have your own fantasies as a
Yeah.
kid with
Yeah.
15. So that was my fantasy. And I made my fantasy become a reality. And I talk about that in the book, how important it is that we have a vision and that we have a goal and that we have something to chase, no matter how stupid it may sound to other people. But just don't listen to the naysayers. Chase your dreams. And that's exactly what I did.
And that part of the book, don't listen. That seems like a lot of people, like I would get my feelings hurt a lot in the early days before I got on Saturday Night Live. If someone said I wasn't good or whatever, what are the mind tricks you played to get around that? Like they're saying, you're terrible, you're nothing, this isn't going to make it, that's not good. And you twist it in your mind.
I didn't have to really twist much because I just saw my vision very clearly in front of me becoming eventually a Mr. Universe, for me eventually coming to America and eventually getting into movies. I saw that. And it was so believable that I had such faith in my vision that there was no one that could talk me out
So
of
they
it.
just didn't get it
Yeah.
in your head. You're like,
I understood
it doesn't.
that when someone has never done something, it's like,
Sure,
right.
Nelson Mandela always said, everything is always impossible until someone does it.
Yeah.
And this is exactly, there was no Austrian ever that became Mr. Universe. So when I say I want to be Mr. Universe, of course they laughed, because they thought, well, if he says he wants to be a ski champion, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But not to be a Mr. Universe or to
Right.
be a weightlifter, something like this. Weightlifting was kind of dominated by the Russians. Bodybuilding was dominated by the Americans or by the British. So, I mean, what is he talking
So
about
you beat
here?
the odds once in a big way, and now you're going to do it in an even bigger way to come all the way to America and know the language. Did you know the language at all when you got here? It took you a while.
No, I mean, there was a lot of subtle things, like I said, when Lucy Ball said,
Yeah.
we're going to go and read, come over for a read. I did not know what that meant. I did not know when she said,
Yeah.
we're going to shoot this live, that this means there will be a live audience and we will be live, the filming and not taping and stuff like that. So all of this stuff I did not know, but I learned the language quickly. I went to college. I remember I went to Santa Monica City College and took English classes and then eventually took business classes and all the stuff that I learned as an apprentice, selling,
Yeah.
marketing, publicity, and accounting, mathematics, and all of this stuff, micro and macroeconomics, and then eventually got a degree in that, which was also not something that I planned on doing. But I was like going part-time to college for 8 years. I mean, think about it. From 1969 the 1977. It was like I just wanted to educate myself, and I didn't have a student visa, so I couldn't go full-time to college, so I had to always just take 2 classes. So sometimes I even cheat a little bit. I took 2 classes at Santa Monica City College, and then at night I would go over to UCLA and take some extension courses, and then sometimes I would take classes at West Los Angeles College and stuff like that. But eventually I got like almost 300 units of credits, and then they gave me a degree.
It's so easy to quit along the way. And this guy, there's so many hard obstacles that people just go, I can't do that.
8 years
take
of
2
college.
forget it.
I have the question. Did you, when you were thinking of your vision, Mr. Olympia, and when you envision yourself as a movie star, did you envision Conan the Barbarian? Did you ever envision Twins and Kindergarten Cop? It evolved?
No.
Conan the Barbarian. I mean,
what
using your physicality.
John Wayne.
What I envisioned was just like Reg Park and Steve Reeves. I said to myself, maybe I can somehow use the muscles and get into movies. I did not know that there are eras.
Yeah.
That there was the 60s was the muscle era, where they made all these muscle movies and stuff that. That the 70s would be kind of like the opposite.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden Woody Allen and Dustin Hoffman
Peter
and
Frampton,
Al Pacino,
the rock stars,
and all those
skinny,
guys exactly would be the stars.
Yeah.
And so that everyone said to me, he says, Arnold, those guys weigh 100 pounds less than you do. You can't put you in a movie with those guys. It doesn't work. So forget about it. So it was all that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but eventually, I think that after they did Stay Hungry, and I played a bodybuilding champion in Stay Hungry in a movie, and I got the Golden Globe Awards for Best Acting Debut for that movie.
That's
so
huge.
that really helped me.
Did you improvise those lines though?
No, there was in Stay Hungry was all written, and
you were natural in that.
And well, thank you. And then Pumping Iron came out, and then that was a big hit.
Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden people started saying it was Pumping Iron actually that made Ed Pressman, who just passed away recently, famous producer, who saw me in Pumping Iron, and then got the rights of the Conan. The
After
Conan
he saw
rights.
you, and then
exactly
he got the
for
You're
movies.
inching over to
That's
more
right.
mainstream, and then you're going to get away from only strongman parts. Like when I moved here, I got a script the first time. I just read it to them. They handed me the script, and I just read it back to them, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know," because they go, "Come read." It was the same thing. I don't know sides, all the lingo I didn't know, and it was hard for me to get work. And I'm only this strong. So I know it was a little bit of a detriment.
Dave, did you find it tells you something about yourself? Like me in the early 80s, I go to audition, I walk in a room, and I see baby face guys with weak chins and little arms.
Baby man.
They all look like me. I mean, you would walk in reading for something. Would you see a lot of other big guys waiting to read?
No, I never read again.
You never read?
Oh, that was it?
No, that
You
was
never
it.
auditioned?
Wow.
No, never.
What?
I knew that this auditioning, this is not my bag.
That's not my
I'm going
bag.
to tap out on
Shit.
auditioning.
But for some reason or the other, from that point on, they came to me, like Bob Rafelson came to me and said, I want you to do Stay Hungry, but you have to take acting classes. Yeah, I get you,
Sure.
with this guy, Eric Morris, who is an acting coach. He says he was working with Chuck Nicholson and blah, blah, blah. He says, I want you to take acting lessons, and then you will come in for a reading. So I was like working with this guy for 4 months.
So you weren't auditioning.
Before I got
Right.
Bob Rafelson did this as a joke in a way, and he had someone tape it. And I came in, and I did the scenes for him, and but it was basically already signed for the movie, right? So it was not really that was in danger. But so anyway, I did the scenes, and he again was very, very complimentary. But this is the sweetness of people in this town that I noticed, kind of how supportive they can be.
Right.
Like Bob Rafelson immediately says, hey, "Stop it." I said, "What?" He says, "Look at my hair. Look at my hair on my forearm." So I said, "Okay, I see you here in the forearm." He says, "It's standing up. Do you know this hair in my forearm? When that stands up, it means that I totally bought in a scene. So what you just did, I totally bought in. It was so touching. It was so emotional. It was so well delivered. We don't even have to go any further. This is it. You have the part."
Wow.
And this is how it would be like that. And the same was with Jeff Bridges and with Sally Fields. They know I was a beginner on this whole thing. But, oh, man, they were so supportive when we did the scenes. Sally Fields was like extraordinary. And so was Jeff Bridges so supportive and everything.
Just take
so,
extra time.
I had really
not
a
always the
good
case.
experience.
Yeah.
And then I think Landsberg, when he hired me for the Jane Mansfield story with Lonnie Anderson, where I played Mickey Haggerty,
Yeah.
because Jane Mansfield's husband was a Hungarian guy.
Right. So
So he was Mr. Universe. And
Yeah.
so I played that character, basically. And so with an accent, the accent was perfect. Then eventually I got the Conan gig.
Yeah.
And it was a big international kind of a movie with Universal Studios.
how much
So
of
that did well?
gross? Like 200 million or something?
No, in those days there was
No,
no
but
200 million. But I mean, it grossed on, I think, 70 or 80 million dollars.
That's
I don't know
huge,
what it
yeah.
was,
Like
but I mean,
300
it was
million,
like,
yeah.
it was like really, it was big. And it was number one at the box office when it opened up. So everyone was really happy, and they signed me up for a second one. And that's when it was my first, with the second Conan, I made the first $1 million.
And how
for a
old were you
movie.
when you first made that million on the second Conan movie? About
I
30?
must have been like 33 or 34 years old.
What
It's
did
just
that
re-going to
mean to
mainstream?
you coming from where you
Right.
came from in Austria to get $1 million?
Well, my dream was, I
Mentally.
said, I want to be like Clint Eastwood, because Clint Eastwood, Charles Bronson, and Marlon Brando were the only guys that were getting over $1 million a movie in the 70s, in the early
Yeah.
70s. So they were like the kings. So I said to myself, wouldn't that be cool if I get $1 million a movie? Maybe, I always shot for the stars, always the big dream. And then eventually it happened. So I felt fantastic.
Yeah.
I felt delighted that I made $1 million and that I'm a millionaire. But I was already a millionaire before then, because I was insisting on making my money in real estate. Like, for instance, this building that we're sitting in right now, I built it in 1984. So in 1984, I bought
I'll give you $1 million for it.
Before Conan?
At least it was no, it was not before Conan, but it was before.
It was cheaper, though.
Before the
before
second
we went
Yeah.
Terminator and all those
And
things.
where'd you get the money to buy the real estate?
Well,
did
I
you
was
physically build
working on construction sites. I
saving?
was doing exhibitions and all this, and I started saving money. And then there was an apartment building for sale in Santa Monica for $240,000. Now that's like the day,
Yeah.
the $10 million. Or
Yeah.
whatever, I don't know what. But in any case, it was $240,000, and I needed $37,000 down payment. I had in my bank account 27. So I went to Joe Weider, who was the publisher
Muscle.
of the bodybuilding
Yeah,
magazine.
Huge and-
Exactly. And I said, can you go and loan me $10,000 for 1 year? And he said, absolutely. And so he would loan me the $10,000. I would put the $37,000 down, and I bought this building, this office building. 2 years later, someone comes to me and offers me now $500,000 for the same building. This is how much real estate went up in the 70s because of the high inflation rate.
Right.
So I now immediately sold this building, took that profit and traded up to a 12-unit apartment building. Then I sold that 2 years later and traded up to a 36-unit apartment
When's your
building.
book on how to become a millionaire?
Yeah.
in
And
real
this
estate
is
coming out?
so I was
any
like
extra
really
money?
Yeah.
very quickly in the 70s. I was already a millionaire.
Without giving away numbers, but I'm always fascinated. How much real estate did you end up buying? And was it all Southern
still
California
into it?
where you bought property, or did you buy it other places?
Well, I
too?
also in other places in
Yeah.
Colorado, for instance, we bought a whole square block in Colorado, and then eventually there was a
Square
high-rise
block.
built on it. Yeah,
How much was the square block?
Just square blocks going for.
It was not that because we bought up pieces at the time,
Yeah.
and then eventually it was a square block, and then we were able to sell this to someone that wanted to build a high rise,
square block.
Right.
and then we were able to get cut in 10% of the high rise and blah 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 and all that stuff. So anyway, so I was always felt very comfortable with the real estate business, but at the same time, the rule is don't have all your irons in the same fire. So I was, investing in stocks and in bonds and all kinds of other kind of like startup businesses and so on. And so my investments always were very good. I never lost money on any investment as far as that goes. There was a huge, and listen to this, it was really funny because I bought the first money I got, I saved, I bought land out in the Antelope Valley. Why? Because I read somewhere when I came over to this country that they're going to build a supersonic airport out there. And so I said, I'm going to go without telling anyone. I'm going to sneak out there and I'm going to buy some property.
With a knife in your mouth.
Exactly. And so this is what I did. I bought for $5,000. I had only $1,000, so I had to pay off the $5,000. I bought this property out there. And then, of course, they never built the airport.
I thought the United States Air Force is out there.
No, but the Air Force is out there. I mean, the supersonic airport, they passed a law, an international law, that said no supersonic aircrafts can fly over land.
Yeah.
So they're only over the ocean. So that killed the idea. And so they kept the LA airport here. So my investment went down the tube. So everyone was laughing about it. But here's what I think. Joe Weider said to me, he says, Arnold, don't worry about it. This will be a good investment for your grandchildren.
Yeah.
Keep it. Forget about it.
Yeah.
I did. I totally forgot about it and I kept it. Today it's worth $1.5 million. Just to show you a $5,000 property. Right. So I didn't even lose money on that investment. Yeah. So this is just to show you that, if you really hold on to it, if you're not doing any fire sale.
For the rest of the podcast?
Yeah, exactly.
How to invest, Arnold? What would you do right now?
What was after the one you just said? Oh, Conan. What was the first sort of mainstream?
Conan 2. And then,
what was...
Because that was kind of mainstream.
The funny thing was my dreams and my desires grew. And I'm sure it's the same with you.
Well,
First you want to do stand-up comedy, but then you say, wouldn't it be great if I do a TV show? Yeah. Wouldn't it be great if I do a movie? So it grows, you get more and more hungry. And so the same thing happened to me. So I said to myself, wouldn't it be cool if I could do movies that doesn't rely on muscles?
Right.
So what happened was Jim Cameron comes along.
Yeah.
And he says to me, with Mike Medavoy, and they say to me, he says, do you want to do this movie called Terminator? And I said, yeah. I said, that would be great. Can you send me the script? He said, sure. So he sent me the script and they said, it would be this character, Reese, which is the heroic character in the movie. And I said, that would be a really great, great role. And then for some reason or the other, when I met with Jim Cameron and we had lunch, I talked the entire lunch about Terminator. Jim, I said, I know you've not directed much, but I say, here's what is important when you direct this guy, whoever plays the Terminator. He says, well, the character that we hired for it is O.J. Simpson. He says, but the studio is kind of like negative about him because they think that he cannot sell the idea of being a killing machine.
Oh.
He says O.J. is not enough of a killer.
He's kind of nice.
He looks too soft for that. So
these are direct quotes.
So he says,
look soft.
Then this is the truth. I mean, this is like unbelievable.
He's doing Hertz commercials.
And so they said, so this is not really set in stone. The whole thing is that, but after listening to you, Jim Cameron said, after listening to you talking to me about the Terminator, that he has to be trained to be like a machine, and he cannot walk like a human being, that he cannot talk like a human being. He says, you're absolutely correct. Your take on it is perfect. He says, why don't you play the Terminator? Yeah. And I said, no. I said, look, I want to play Reese. I want to be the hero, not the villain.
Yeah.
I'm set up in my mind. Well, the way I shoot it, Arnold, it would be like a hero and a villain. Hero because he does all these unbelievable things and wipes everyone out. Villain because he's a machine. But you don't have to be responsible personally because you're a machine. You're directed by some higher power, so it's not like you going around killing things. So I said to him, let me think about it. And so for a few days I thought about it, and then I said to myself, he's actually right. If he shoots this the right way, this could be really cool. And then I called him back and I said, okay, I'm in. And so there was the first movie where we're through the whole movie. Shirt didn't
come off.
No, never.
Yeah.
It was like leather jacket, and the whole thing like that. And from then I got the offer to do, after Terminator, to do Commando. Yes. And after that to do Predator, Running Man. And it went on and on.
I think
and
I've seen every one of your movies.
I was in.
Yeah.
I was accepted in Hollywood as the action hero.
Yes.
And it all came from Conan and from Terminator. So this was it was my launching pad.
And you God, you just had such a run at films.
Dana, I saw a copy of Terminator when you said, your catchphrases are very short, which is
Right.
smart. I saw an early copy when you say, "Come with me if you want to live,"
Yeah.
and it was, "Come with me if you want to live because I know all the shortcuts in town. We can go down the 710 and we can get in a carpool lane, and the monster robot only can drive in the regular because he's one person." And I think it was better you tightened it because that
Come
seemed like
with
a
me
long
if you want to live.
catchphrase.
Yeah, you didn't want to be too wordy.
Yeah, it was too wordy. And so
with
the
me.
final script, "Come with me if you want to live."
They cut
better.
all that out, and
Exactly.
it was
There's
boom,
Hasta
boom,
La
boom.
Vista. You had a lot of good ones. Did you know at the time when you do those that these might be sort of cool little things to say?
No, you don't know.
Hasta la
I
vista,
mean, we
baby.
never know what will hit
Sure.
and what people really like. I mean, you wish you can say that and say, "Oh, this was written this way," or "I improvised that." It's not. It wouldn't be true. The reality of it is, we had no idea that even "I'll be back" would be a line that would be the most repeated kind of line.
Yeah,
in history.
Anything. We just. I was
One of them.
arguing with Jim Cameron endlessly about "I will be back." He says, "No, I wrote I'll be back." I'm going to say "I will be back" because I don't like the "I'll." This L thing sounds a little weird. I said, I will be back. And he says, "Who the fuck wrote the script?
Oh, yeah.
Are you the script writer now? Or am I the script writer?" I say, "You're the script writer." And he says, "Okay, so we say, I'll be back. And if you want, we can shoot it 10 different ways. If that makes you feel comfortable," he says, "but so let's just do that. I'll be back, not I will be back. That's bullshit." And so I was arguing with him about
But you know
the
what's
line.
funny is
It was right.
And luckily, he
robotically,
was so right, and
The
he made
rhythm.
me
"I
say
will
it.
be back" sounds almost more robotic, and you were right.
Yeah, I
in
know,
that
but I mean,
respect.
it's so
But
he
it's better
just
the way
loved
he did,
"I'll
yeah.
be back," and so we did it 10 times. And when the movie came out, everyone wanted me to repeat that line, and so you don't know. We
never
had
know.
no idea this is going to happen. We had no idea that kind of like all the stuff, "Hasta la vista, baby" in Terminator 2,
Right.
or "Get to the chopper" is stupid lines.
Get to the chopper.
It's just because the way I say it,
yeah.
because Germans cannot pronounce the R on the end. So
Right.
so everything's chopper.
What was
It's
his
not a
name?
tumor.
It's
This
not
is
a tumor.
Yeah, so when I
tumor.
say
That's a
tumor,
great one.
so when I say it's not a tumor, when we rehearsed for Kindergarten Cop,
Mm-hmm.
and I did the rehearsal with the kids, and I said it's not a tumor. All the kids started laughing, even though it was supposed to be an intense scene.
'Cause it just
so
sounded
then
funny.
Ivan Reitman looked and said, "This is funny."
Now we got a
They're all
joke.
laughing. He says, "Say it the same way. Don't change anything."
fucking funny.
So anyway, so those lines became kind of famous because the way I say it with my accent. And so if someone else would have said it, wouldn't have made
it's
anything.
musical. It's a musicality. "I will be back" has a different rhythm comedically. "I'll be back."
Yeah,
It's so
exactly.
intense. Didn't you do some where you would drop guys off, things for dropping by, and you drop them off a cliff? Those kinds of lines
And
too.
the guy says, "I promised to kill me last." Sally. I said, "Sally, remember I promised to kill you last?" And he says, "Yeah." I say, "I lied."
yeah,
And
there
then
you
it just
go.
dropped. So
Mr.
I lied.
Freeze had a couple.
Then everyone,
too.
all the kids started running around, and the parents were saying, he says, "You promised me that you're not going to get an F in school." He said, "I lied."
I like.
That's great.
So all the kids
You
were
have more
repeating that.
comedy hits than most comedians, to be honest.
But when
Yeah.
when we're talking about growing your vision,
Yeah.
like the last thing I ever thought about doing was doing comedies.
Yeah.
And but then when I was doing a bunch of movies, action movies, I said to myself, wouldn't it be cool if I could do a comedy? Because I felt I had a sense of humor. Yes, I agree that I didn't understand the American sense of humor as well. So that's why I asked my buddy Milton Berle to teach me about
Milton
comedy.
Berle?
Wow.
Yeah, Milton Berle, yeah. So he would write
He was friends
jokes
with
for me.
Lucille Ball as well.
Yeah, but he would write jokes for me all the time, Milton Berle. And so he always, called me fucking Nazi. I have to write these fucking jokes for this Nazi. God damn it, But he loved hanging out with me and smoking
Yeah.
cigars with me.
Yeah.
Because of him, I really got into the cigar smoking, actually. But it was like, he was really, really funny. And he would then go and start writing stuff for me when I was doing speeches. And he would say, you can't go out there in a speech and start with a serious note. I said, you got to go and say, first make the people like you. So say something funny.
Right.
Go out there and just say, You know, what you probably wonder, what am I doing here at a medical convention in Vegas? But, you know, the Dr. So-and-so came up to me and says, Arnold, I love you because you're a real good American and you believe in free speech, right? And I said, yeah, of course I believe in free speech. Good, because you're going to give one in Vegas on June 14th. You know, so then the people laugh and they say, and then they like you. And now whatever you say, they will like you. I said, so that was Milton Berle's kind of a thing. So he would write little jokes and little lines for me for the beginning to get going with the speeches. Yeah.
Lucille Ball, Milton Berle, you got some good ones.
Yeah, do you remember with the movie we almost made? We wrote a script. It was called Hans and Franz, the Girly Man Dilemma that we were going to do with you. It didn't get made, but it was a funny script.
Well, I had that conversation just recently.
With Conan?
No, well, with Conan, yes, but I mean, we also internally had it because I said there are several scripts I said that were offered to me that I didn't do for whatever the reasons were. You know,
timing,
that they were dismissed or they were never made or I couldn't wait. They couldn't wait for me, so they hired someone else. You know, like The Rock. Yeah, the movie that The Rock with
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery, exactly. And what's the actor's name again? Nick Cage, exactly. Nicolas Cage. And so I was going to do that, but I mean, they couldn't wait for me because I was doing another movie first and all that stuff. So there were certain, but the one movie that I always loved, that I even would do today, is the script that we had together, where Hans and Franz finally comes to find the uncle, and they're now staying in his house.
Yes.
And I remember it was so funny.
Yes.
And I just remember when you came to me and you said, I have to go to the bathroom. Where's the bathroom? And I said, you go down the hall and where you see the deltoid, you go left. Then you see a calf, you go right.
Big giant
and then you see, exactly. There was all these huge sculptures of my body all over the house. And this was the direction that I gave you guys. It was just so stupid and so fucking funny.
Oh, yeah. And you had a war room we went into where you had, it was a whole puzzle, like a Monopoly game, but studios, Paramount, 20, and you had you're pushing pieces around. Stallone is going to do a movie over 20th Century Fox. We countered Paramount with a comedy, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
All of it was having fun with the image of Arnold Schwarzenegger at that time.
And what you guys did on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
So the idea was that they took the Saturday Night Live idea where you were searching for me and running into different kind of situations. But here you found me in this movie. And now it goes on from what do we do together? And so it was hilarious, the script. So, I mean, I think it still could be funny.
We read it on Conan's podcast, and it had a big reaction. People really liked it. It's from a different era in the sense that it's really big, funny, and silly, which I don't think they make enough of those movies.
You can modernize it.
Oh, yeah.
If you get a writer today, if you guys sit down and start reworking it, what works today, and to do it for Netflix, let's say, you know, for that audience, I mean, imagine what a smash that would be.
A lot of physical
comedy. It would be laughing
comedy
from here to eternity.
A lot of visual.
Come out at Christmas time or before Christmas. I mean, it would be fantastic.
I'm around with you in a second, but it was just a funny script, and you were it was an hilarious part for you. But you know, life is what it is.
Exactly.
You know, you just keep moving on to the chapter at the end about just giving back, you know, and then you're talking about Milton Berle helping you, Lucille Ball. And now you must find chances, or do young movie stars look you up or ask you or give advice? So you're a mentor of how to, I don't know.
Well,
is there anyone more successful? This will sound like I'm kissing your ass, but has there been anyone like you in the last 40, 50 years that come to America from another country, from extreme poverty, and do all these things? And then here you are now, still going. And doing
I don't know. I think that one of the people that I always admired a lot that came to America at the age of 15, I think, was Henry Kissinger.
Yeah, and he's still around.
And Henry Kissinger had an unbelievable career. Academic career and political career. And it was just a genius foreign policy kind of a guy, and all that stuff. So there's a lot of people, Elon Musk and people like that have come
I guess
to
'cause
this
it's-
country. Remember,
Elon Musk would be
but one of the things, no matter who it is, no matter how many there are, one thing we know for sure, that there's no other country in the world where we could have done that. No other country. I mean, if I think about, and I'm pretty much aware of the world because I travel a lot, and through bodybuilding and movie promotion, and when I was governor to do trade missions all over the world and all of that stuff. But there's just no place, and even today, a time when we have difficulty in America, where the parties don't get along and they can't get much done and all this stuff. Even during that time, when I travel around, I don't see anyone coming up to me and saying, "Oh, Arnold, can you help me get a visa to Jordan?" "Oh, Arnold, can you help me to get a visa to Russia?" Or "Can you help me to get to South Africa?" Or something like that. No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about America. Arnold, please help me. Can you write a letter for the immigration office? I want to get to America. I want to be in America. So this is the number one country, still by far. It's the most desirable place for people to come. It's the only place where someone like myself can come and make it big and make all his dreams become a reality.
And what are we doing right? Because we're pretty self-critical as a nation right now about America, but you have a perspective unique to people who are born here, tend to take it for granted. But what are we doing right so that people can come in and have a life like you've had in America?
But people can, and people do today.
It's just because the economic freedom?
I think it is the economic freedom. I think it is just that it has its downfalls and it has its big advantages. And the advantages are more than our disadvantages. And that's what makes us so great. Yes, we have problems and all that, but I mean, it's still, anyone can come still today to America and really become kind of very successful. I see it all the time in a smaller way even. I see people coming from, I see this one guy was coming from Israel to Gold's Gym. He was working out for a while. Then all of a sudden he was like a personal trainer. And the next thing I know, he's driving up with an Austin Martin and with the next day with a Jaguar. And the guy's getting $100 an hour. He works 15 hours a day. 15 hours a day. It's talking about working your ass off, right? What we talked about earlier. This guy believes in working. So he drives these fancy cars. He has nice girls around. He trains people there in the gym. He's doing exactly what he wants to do. He's from Israel. Just came over here a few years ago. And the same is with a French guy that does the same thing. I know this one girl that is from Sweden. She's a personal trainer and she's making a fortune here and all this. So this is unlike any other place, And so I think this is really the place to be, and where people can be successful. And I think America should be proud of that. And you're right. When you're an American, you take it for granted. When you're American, you sometimes don't appreciate how great this country really is. And the thing that everyone has to do is, and I talk about this in the last chapter, is this country was built by hardworking men and women that have sacrificed. That were not just looking forward to the glory, but sacrificed. And I think that today's kids have to study that history because it will make them wake up and say, I cannot be this little girly man.
Well put. Because
and
of social
I cannot
media
be this guy that is staying in bed. I want to sleep in. Or I want to feel good. Or I want to be treated kind of fairly and nice and stuff. No, this is a tough world. Get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, and kick some serious ass. Go to work. Whatever you do, the day is 24 hours. You can do it. And this is how we make this country, not only great, but keep it the greatest country in the world, is by not babying ourselves and not by kind of like taking it easy and trying to sleep in and I want to feel better and all this kind of stuff, but to kind of do the same thing as they did in the old days. Work your butt off. And it's like Ted Turner always said, early to bed, early to rise, work like hell and advertise. This is where the action is, and I believe in that, but it's important to know that we got to grind it out, and we cannot just always look for the pleasures, but there is punishment, there is hardship, there is failure, there is tough times that you go through, but that's all okay. We got to go and have a clear vision, chase that vision, and then there will be struggles and all that stuff. The more struggles we have, the tougher we will get. And the more failures we have, the more we learn and the more successful we can get. I mean, remember what the Michael Jordan said, I missed 5,000 shots. And I lost, 200 and some 80 games. But I became the greatest basketball player because of it. What I've learned. So it's don't be afraid of failure is one of the chapters that I have in the book. And so I think it's hard work, not being afraid of failure, to grind it out, to have a clear vision, not listen to the naysayers, pick big goals. So those are the kind of rules that I talk about in the book, because that's what we need to do in order to be successful as a person and as a country.
And I think that, it's in your book, but that you just have you in the end of the day. And sometimes don't look at social media too much and get tricked out that this person did nothing and is a millionaire. But what I found a few times, just being driven around the country to gigs, and I had to have first-generation immigrants driving me from Russia, wherever. This one Russian guy goes, I tried to open business in Russia, someone stop. I tried to hire more employees, they say stop. I come to America, I start to do the same thing, no one say stop. No one told him to stop. Who are you now? Almost every time. I own the business. I just like your comedy. I drive you, Mr. Carvey. But so that's the idea. Is it's nothing. I think the secret sauce of America, if you put the work in consistently and are willing to fail over and over again, there is some great stuff that will happen to you emotionally, mentally, and hopefully you will experience success. It won't stop you.
You're absolutely right, because no one has ever said to me, you can't. They will say, I think this is impossible, or there's their naysayers and they say no one has ever done it before, but no one said, I will not allow you to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no such thing.
You've already done 4 movies. It's your turn. Now you go back. Lou Ferrigno's going to do twins.
Exactly, yeah. There's no such thing. Yeah. So, so I have to always say that none of it that I accomplished would have been possible if I wouldn't have been in America.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, see this here?
Yeah.
See the
hairs
there?
on my arms. Actually, mine's here.
Yeah.
Those monstrous forearms of yours. Look at this, all pumped up. How do you do it?
I do a lot of push-ups. I just push-ups are my main thing if I can't get to the gym.
Yeah.
But I try to, I keep going.
Yeah.
I'm just got to stay
my
fit.
Excuse?
I always tell people you occupy a room, but you live here. So
That's
work
it.
on this. This is where you're living. You could occupy this, but
that's right.
You can't get away. No matter where you go, there you are.
Yeah,
Arnold,
this has been fascinating.
Total Recall line.
Total Recall.
Remember in Total Recall when I check in on the beginning that they say to me to sell this implant, they say, what is always the same wherever you go? You.
There you are.
She says, but here with Total Recall, we're going to help you with that. You can become kind of an agent, secret agent. You can have this wonderful woman. You can do this. You can conquer the blah, blah. So this is the whole thing. The whole line is about that.
Do you have a favorite movie?
No, because it's like, it's like I love Twins with Danny DeVito, but at the same time I love, Terminator, and I love, Predator, True Lies. I mean, it's very hard to pick, one. There's some movies that were fun to make, like Kindergarten Cop, to work with those 20 kids. That was really a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But there's other movies that were really hard to make, like True Lies. We were shooting like for 6 months in this movie, from winter scenes and summer scenes in the snow, in the cold, freezing cold. It was just torturous. And then 80 days night shooting and all that stuff. But it was a fun movie to watch.
Just for the fans that are listening, at the end of Predator, when you got rigged a log to kill or something, what did you say? What are you or something? I think it takes its helmet off. Or, you're ugly.
Is that when you had the mud all over?
You're one ugly motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah,
I knew
yeah.
it was a great line.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just almost to be dead. You're just covered in mud. You got
Yeah.
this monster.
Yeah.
You're one ugly motherfucker.
Come, kill me, do it now, do it now. And then on the end I said, get to the chopper.
Hasta la vista, baby.
I had no idea that I would be walking around. I would go to the Arnold Classic, to the sports festival, people screaming out, "I'll get to the chopper." You know, all my lines they're screaming out. It's just hilarious to watch that.
I was at the Arnold Classic with you, and we were backstage, and on the TV monitor were all the contestants out there doing their stuff.
Yeah.
And so I just looked at the monitor. I asked you, I said, is there anyone exceptional here?
Oh.
And you just leaned back with, well, you know, looking
Well,
at
me. Yeah, shit. Well,
David,
said.
what have you been up to?
Oh, thank you. Finally. Well, kind
all
of.
right, we're going to take a quick break and come back with.
No, don't go to commercial now. No, I was going to
doing
say.
a lot. You've got a game show on tomorrow
Say
night.
hi to everyone. There's Maria, who's always a fun ball buster to me. There's Patrick, who's on the Boys spinoff, right? Patrick's doing great. Christopher, your daughters. I see all these people here and there. We did Grown Ups too. Patrick was in. And Christopher works on Tyson's podcast.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing great. Just hi to the family and thanks for coming down. And it's great to talk to you about this book.
But
Well,
David
be
is very,
useful.
very busy.
What's that?
He's at what you were doing. He's doing a lot of stand up.
Oh yeah, I'm doing stand up. I'm doing all the same. You know, all
Yeah,
the
it's
shit,
great. Yeah.
movies and
No, I'm
things.
crushing it. I'll send you a couple links.
Yeah. Those are not hand me downs.
No, these are right off the rack. Taylor. Yeah. Hand me down some Dana.
He's like my little brother.
And how-
Dana and I
and
share
let me
quotes.
ask you something. I mean,
Yeah.
Sure.
I know that you're doing this podcast to interview me, but I find it interesting how both of you stay so lean.
Right.
Yeah, that's hard.
Just give me a quick rundown. What makes you stay so lean? Are you
No.
disciplined with your eating, or
Yeah.
you working out?
It's
or
you know
is
what
it?
I realized down the line at a certain point it was my problem was more eating than working out more. So when I ate less or more, thought it out more, I would lose weight faster than working out too much. So it was cut out sugar, try to cut out some white flour, and then overall it is like more of a lifestyle than just dieting or whatever. You really slowly have to start cutting stuff out when you get older and you can't eat as badly, do as much, this and that. And I sleep probably 8 hours. Dana, what about you?
I ran track and field in high school, distance running and cross country. Then
You still do?
Yeah, you still run.
Yeah, I do run and I hike. I do all kinds of things. I love the burn. You know, how you say
Yeah.
it's better than an orgasm. You know,
Yeah.
I love hard cardio. Sorry, that was
love hard
Oprah or
orgasms.
something. Yeah, it's better pumping up. It's like better. I remember that was funny.
Yeah, when you get the burn, when you
I love
kick into that, it's
I
great.
love to work really, really hard. I go up Griffith Park and I red line really. And then I started lifting weights, in my 30s. And then you and I have something in common. I had a bypass that the operation wasn't done correctly, but it didn't hurt me when I was 42. So, and now I'm a little older than that. But that also put me on a Mediterranean diet, basically. And so my wife and I just got all the junk out of the house. We keep all the junk out of the house. If it's not right there, I don't have it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I weigh myself. I'm not neurotic about it, but I just keep track. It's like a report card
Yeah.
for me. And I'm not trying to get too thin. I just try to stay around this weight because I feel lighter on my feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Well,
not to eat it.
I just think that it is so important that we stay lean, even though I'm not lean.
Well, you look great.
But I mean, I'm just telling you that I
wanna
always,
look like
the
you.
day I got to this age now
Mhm.
where I admire people much more when they're lean than when they're bulked up.
Yeah.
Because I think lean is where the action is.
Yeah.
Because, the
That's true.
body
that quote.
just, no, but the body
Yeah.
just is
Yeah.
Seems to run
lives longer
Mm-hmm.
when you're lean.
Yeah.
I look at my dogs. The dogs that usually, the bigger dogs, they wipe out with the age of 12, 13, 14. I have this little dog, Noodle. A little dog like this. He's like 14 and a half years old, runs around, jumps up on every bench,
Yeah.
and just still attacks all the other dogs when they're nasty, just the teeth, has full of energy, but it's little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's going to live for the next,
I'm more
10
like
years
Noodle,
probably.
I think.
It's
Yeah.
just amazing.
No, I'm Noodle
He has
and
so much
Dana's
No, but I'm
like,
just, yes, I'm comparing them. because it doesn't matter
You're
if
right,
you're
carrying
an
too
animal
much.
or if you're a human being. Being leaner and being
Yeah.
lighter means longevity, means that you're around a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I do 10 push-ups now and have you analyze just my form?
Just to start. We will both.
Absolutely.
my form.
I will
You can
too.
do it.
Yeah, he's taking the mic with him.
Taking the mic out so I can talk.
Okay, let's see it.
Just doing 10. I'm not.
David, you want me to
I'll
hold
probably
it?
Shake a little bit.
Do you want me to hold your
No, I'll go down
butt?
toward it.
Okay.
So it depends where I want to
Here comes
feel it,
Dana. He's doing.
basically. So I'm in the push-up position.
Looks a
Right.
little girly man right now.
1,
Shaking.
2,
Well, don't, yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
No pauses.
8,
Nailing it.
9, 10. Perfect.
Shit.
Perfect.
Get the oxygen.
It was fantastic. It was very, very strict. And what was good about it was that your body stayed absolutely flat.
Right.
You didn't
put the butt up.
buckle in with at the waistline
Yeah.
like a lot of people do and stuff
You got to
like that.
keep your glutes on.
You just
so
said
that
it was
you don't-
like a board, straight,
Yeah.
totally flat,
That's the greatest compliment.
disciplined.
Yes.
Yeah,
So that's what I do. And I do lat pulls. I do stuff for the back.
yeah.
And mobility is all the rage now.
I think it's
You know,
great.
Hip mobility.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All
good
right,
job.
Arnold.
Anyway,
Saw my
good to
push-ups.
see you
All right,
Made
guys.
good
my
luck with
day.
the book. It's
Thank
great.
Thank you for your help
Appreciate
with the
it.
book and all that stuff. I really appreciate that.
The book is great.
And we will stay in touch.
Yeah, of
Yes.
course. Always fun to
All right.
see
We
you, buddy.
will work together again.
That would be great.
And something.
Let's do something.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Spade, half of me and Carvey, and just want to let you know at the end of this episode, after the credits, we are going to answer some of the questions we asked you to ask us. So if you stick around, you're going to hear them. And if you want to ask us a question, you go to flyonthewall@cadence13.com. That's an email address, people. Get with the program. You can email us at flyonthewall@cadence13.com. Ask anything to Dana and ask me like really good ones. All right, so get your questions, listen to the questions, and ask your questions. Now, here's the show.
Hey, Jill, I'll be there in a second. Get to talk to my friend here. That's a little bird. Number one, it's a tiny bird. Come on. Don't scare me. You can't. I'm young. I'm strong. Come on, here's the deal. You're a little bird. You're a little bird. Jill, I'll be there in a second. Come on.
Oh, he flew off.
What should I do with Putin? No, he flew away.
That was it.
All right, there you go.
That one, and how
And
about this?
scene.
No, here's this for Sarah.
Okay.
I went to the Sarah sometimes does dirtier stuff. She's hysterical, by the way. Sarah Silverman, we're old friends from SNL. Was when I first met her. So here's one. So I went to the doctor to get my physical, and he goes, at the end, it's sort of in the air that he's going to go up your behind. You know what I mean? Like at a yearly physical, they're going up your butt. So,
Right, I asked the guy to do it when he first walks in. Can we get that out of the way? He goes, no, I like to save it. And I go, really? What do you mean save it?
he goes, give me something to look forward to.
This guy, as soon as that is done, and I don't like gross humor, he takes the glove off. He starts walking away, throws it in the trash can, and then sprints out of the office, like as if it's some weird
What if
exit.
he goes, I just want to get this over with. So he goes, let's just do it right now. And he doesn't even, I'm not even putting the glove on. Let's just do this. And you're like, wait a second.
All right. Well, these
Put
are the
glove
worst
on.
jokes in the world.
No,
But
these aren't gloves. This is
this one always made me laugh. The last
ahead.
thing you want to hear during that type of exam.
Yeah.
Look, Ma, no hands.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. It's just
Because his wiener's in there?
Greg has finally got
Greg laughs. You're not supposed to laugh. Don't just laugh at his shit.
Greg is having gyrations. Our producer, Greg Holtzman, at gregholtzman.com.
Heather, you laugh at my stuff. He'll laugh at Dana's.
Well, look, Ma, no hands. I'm sorry. So
Oh, here's mine. This is
Okay,
actually a true
go ahead.
story.
Now, yeah,
So he goes,
Sarah Silverman.
I'm going to start with putting, and then we'll say, here's Sarah. He says, I have to put a finger up your buttocks. And I said, feel free. I know it's part of the drill. So he goes, he got one in there. And I go, actually, try one more. And he does two. And then I go, just for fun, try to put your whole hand in there. And he goes, okay, it's in there. And I go, now put the other one. He puts the other one. I go, now clap. And he goes, I can't. I go, tight, right?
what?
That was a long way to go.
A long way to go.
That's a great one. Tight, right?
Well, when my last exam, the guy tries to make jokes around that. And he goes, did you hear about the guy who had 5 penises? His pants fit him like a glove.
Anyway, drop them. I know. My guy works in bits. I go, just do doctor stuff.
Just do doctor.
All right, Sarah,
I don't do proctology much.
We love Sarah because she's a hilarious comic. I see her out. She always has parties on a roof. We'll talk about that. And
Sarah Silverman has a great voice because I do voices.
I do like her voice.
She has a sort of it's almost like it's a sneakily seductive cadence when she does stand up. You know how she kind of moves her shoulders and her arms.
I want to do jokes I remember of hers to her and see how close I get them.
Try one.
Oh,
you don't have one?
No. When she comes out and there's a song on, and she goes, "This is such a good song." She goes, "This song is so good." I remember I got gang raped to this song in an alley.
Yeah.
And I still love the song. That's a testament to how great that is. That's what I think.
She did something. I won't know the whole
Dana
thing.
just stares at me.
She's canceled, and now we're canceled.
We have to ask her because some guy in a porn was whacking off, and when he jizzed, he goes, "Sarah Silverman."
She's had a lot of stuff about
She's got
porn.
a lot of fans. So we'll talk about that.
Sarah Silverman has a great sense of humor. I hung out with her at the 40th, at the party, the 40th anniversary of SNL. And my running gag that night was just checking my phone and saying, "You're trending right now." So that was my runner back then. It was a while back.
That's pretty good, especially back then at the 40th, because things were just beginning to trend.
It was just full of stars.
I have a picture with her from that. All right, well, let's hear what she has to say. Action, Sarah.
Hello.
Hello.
Sarah, would you? Hey, I know it wasn't official, but would you be on our podcast?
Sure.
Oh, great. Thank you. Come on.
When do you want to do it?
Now?
Is that her? She's a black screen.
Where am I? How come you can't see me?
Are you baby Jessica in the well?
Oh, fuck. Wait, let me put it. I have to put it on
Video.
this guy.
I spent 10 minutes fluffing my hair around so you'd be impressed. You know.
It looks so good.
Thank you.
Look at Sarah's
You always look
angle.
at Sarah's all the time.
Why am I so low?
I don't know.
It's funny.
But I find it quite disturbing.
Oh, Sarah.
Oh,
Why- is that a
Sarah
cork board?
Silverman is on our podcast.
Yeah.
It's not video, so I'm not going to describe your mansion. Sarah, we were just talking about, just quickly, about Ben Simmons, and I forgot you play
Who?
ball.
Ben Simmons.
Bill Simmons?
Ben Simmons is a basketball player, and we were saying that I was going to tell Dana that Sarah's a baller, and you used to
What?
play at Shanling's.
Oh, yes.
And I had played a few times, but I think you're better than me. And then, yeah. Okay, don't question it. Just say, "Oh, did you?"
I just
But
didn't know you played basketball.
You guys.
I'm a fucking athlete
I know.
So
you were
I-
a professional cheerleader.
for a while.
They would throw him up, and then it would catch him, right? Remember in high school?
I was the
And
sturdy
he never
bottom of the
came
pyramid.
down.
Yeah.
Down
I
to
played.
earth.
So Sarah, walk us through.
Let's go through now.
Dana and I are so
This
bad at
is
this.
your life. No, I have got a lot of questions.
No, first let
and
me ask her.
answers.
She played basketball and she was good at it, and it was with Shanling and all these comedians. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, I haven't played basketball since the pandemic, and now I'm like, I think should be done because
In general,
basketball is just not good for you when you're older. I had switched I said I can only play inside because of my knees, so I did that for a long time. But then I don't know. I feel like I'm going to really hurt myself.
do your knees know the difference between inside and
control
outside?
the paint.
Yeah, because when you play outside, like on a playground or something, it's it's just pavement. Like
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't understand. It's an athletic thing, but
I just
Sarah.
think you guys are always part of the cool group.
David,
You guys are you're cool celebrities, both of you. I just put it together.
Listen, Sarah, I have a question. I get two in a row, Dana. By the
All
way,
right.
me and Dana
Dave-
do not know what we're
David
doing.
is
you guys,
firm.
I love your show, and it's so interesting. And now the pressure's on because I feel like, oh God, I don't. But I was talking to, I don't know if either of you remember Jonathan Katz, the great Jonathan Katz.
Yes.
comedian?
The-
Yeah.
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 Dr. Katz, professional therapist.
Yeah,
yeah,
of course,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I was talking to him yesterday, and he was like, "Have you heard the Fly on the Wall podcast with Dana Carvey and David Spade?" And I was like, "I'm going to be on it tomorrow." Loves it.
Jeez. Now I'm feeling the pressure. What is Jonathan hearing that we're not? Because we usually kind of take a nap after this and sort of reassess
so
life.
funny and interesting.
Well,
Dana, I had some lady in
Thank
front
you.
of Jersey Mike's yesterday say she saw it. You know what's funny, or she heard it, but you know what's funny, Sarah? Have you ever done this? Someone goes like, "Hey, weren't you on SNL?" I go, "Thank you." And there was
And
no
that's all they
compliment. I just
say.
get nervous and say thanks.
Yeah,
and they
like,
go,
I saw you in. Blah, blah, blah.
yeah, and you go, "Thanks."
and then silence. I saw you on David Letterman, and then nothing. That's the most fucked up. I saw you do stand up, and then silence.
My waiter at this place I eat, he's German, and he goes, "Hey, there was a picture of me making
Are
all
you
this."
talking about the IHOP on Holloway?
No, I wish. That's where I used to go every single day for 2 years. This is another one, and the waiter goes, because I was kissing a girl in a pool, and I don't know, I took a picture a couple years ago, and he goes, "Hey," and it was in all these websites because she was marginally attractive and I'm sickening. So that's always a story. So they go, "This
We
guy."
got to get him to a therapist.
I see
I
it.
don't
No,
like you talking about my friend David like that.
no, I like me. So I said, I could understand it. Anyway, so the joke was he came up and he goes, "Hey, little pool party this weekend?" And I go, "Oh, yeah." And he goes, "A little fun in the sun, huh? Huh? A little splashing around." And I go, "Right." And he goes, "I saw pictures of you." And I go, "Yeah, I know.
Oh,
and
hold on. Is this your German accent?
yeah, maybe it's not Germany.
Okay,
It's
go
not-
on.
Slightly
maybe
Germany.
maybe it's the valley. So then he goes, he goes, "Hey," and then he goes, "But then they showed you getting out of the water and you look fat. Why do you want them to have pictures like that?" I go, "Why do I want the paparazzi? Do you fucking get how it works?" He goes, "You look bad." And some of the pictures I was like, "Whoa, I can't believe it." And I go, you are from somewhere else because you think they take 100 pictures and they have a jeweler's loop and they find the grossest one and go, "This is the one we're going with. Run with it."
So this is a random fan saying this to you.
It's like a friend, but he's just,
okay.
he's very, I think he was half being funny, but he half didn't know that I don't sit with the editorial at Daily Mail and go, "I think I look better in this one." And they're like, "You know what? Great. If you look better and you like
The
it."
Daily Mail fills so many pages with so much minutia.
yeah, it is crack cocaine. You on that thing, and man, the little pictures on the side, and that guy's in a bathing suit, and they're over there. It's so exciting.
There's people in there that I don't even know. And I go, "Why am I?" And they're there every day. And I go, "Are they paying to be on here? Because there's no reason we should be knowing anything."
It's so, it's not like I'm Britney Spears or something. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. If they're around, I never see them pop up unless I were to like Google myself. Like I was, like Sacha Baron Cohen, we were meeting for dinner in New York, and he's like, "Well, if we go here, will there be paparazzi?" I go, "I don't know. Do you read Us Weekly? Like, who cares? Like, how is that a part of your life?" But
Yeah.
it's not like we're doing something scandalous. We're just getting some nosh.
Daily
They know
Mail
they're
is
getting
more
photographed,
ads.
right? If you're at a beach in a bikini or you're on a yacht off Italy, you know they got telephotos
Sure.
on you, right? No one should.
I mean, I have friends from New Hampshire who are like, "Do you call them and tell them where you'll be?" And I'm like, why would I call them when I'm walking uphill in sweat? Walking my dog, looking like 18 zits on my
I was
face.
wearing a hat and sunglasses and stuff for a while. I don't know. I was allergic to fame. I think at one point my wife said, "I don't think anyone's paying attention." So I was like, okay,
It is true. It is true.
Nor should they. But yeah,
But the dirty secret, Dana, is that there are probably 50% of that is called in now.
That's what I heard. So like, that's
Yeah.
totally crazy to me. Who,
And
but
it makes sense kind of because it's places that you never see paparazzi. There's a couple places you kind of know. And then it's like, they're coming out of the Rite Aid in, Topanga. And it's like, "We got them." And I'm like, so you had to call someone, have them drive out there, get them. And then either they split the money if they're a bigger star, but if they're not a big star, they just hope they sell it somewhere. They just hope they get it out there.
Well, I remember one time I picked my mom up years ago at the airport. She was coming to visit. And, I was just, and you know, at the airport, you just get like sloppy thirds or what, like there's a paparazzi who's there for someone big, and then they just see, and then the airlines, you know, like, so I pick up my mom, and there's like TMZ or paparazzi just walking the whole way to the car, and I'm just, it's like stuff with your mom when you're a daughter. There's so much, and she's just loving it and talking to them and stopping and talking to them. And I'm like, Mom, let's, and if I, you can't like be upset in front of someone. Let's just get in the car, and she's driving me insane because she loves it so much. And we get in the car and she goes, well, I don't know why you're in such a rush. I mean, they're just doing their job. I said, Mom, the greatest thing that could happen to them is that we get into a car accident and die right now. And they have the last pictures of, like that.
That's true.
It's not beautiful. Like it's
that's so true. Yeah.
If it's outrageous.
But I mean, I don't care, but it's just like.
Dana, one time I walk into a restaurant and there's all these like super famous people, and it's, obviously they told me later women sell better, because they get in all the magazines and what they're wearing and all that. So I walk in and I go, nothing, guys. And then he does it from the waist. He has his camera and just from his waist goes, dish, dish. And two flashes, and I go, you don't even lift it up to your eye and look through it. And he goes, no, I know what I'm doing. I go, well, I better see that somewhere.
Oh, we're sad little celebrities.
I remember Jimmy Kimmel. He said that he actually overheard, like, his show had just started, but he was early on in his, his talk show had just started, and he got like paparazzi'd, and then he walked around the corner and walked past the same guy that took his picture, and he was on the phone, and he overheard him go like, man, it's a really slow day.
They always check you to remind you what level you are in the business. It's so sickening.
Do your feelings get hurt easily in show business, Sarah, or you feel you're tougher than you used to be?
I don't think so really anymore. I still, I get fired from things or unhired from things, and I don't take it too personally. I got hired. This writer director wrote this series that's coming out on a streaming platform, and
nice in general.
Great.
He emailed me and said, "Will you play this role? It's a rabbi, and it's like a drama, and." I was like, yeah, that's cool. It's like this, there's like scenes underwater, and it's like this futuristic whatever.
Nice.
And it has she's in other episodes, but then she has like one whole episode. And I was like, great. And I'm, I have the script, and there's dates and everything. And then he emails me back and he said, Sarah, I'm so horrified. The something plus people, said no, and I didn't know that was even a thing. Like, I thought I could hire anyone I wanted, but they said no. And I go, don't worry. In a way, it like feels like relief. Like, when people cancel plans and you're like, like it's it's relief, because I, of course I stress about it because I want to do a good job, but I mean, part of me is like, I don't understand why, and then part of me does understand why. So I just,
Well, do you get, when you get hired for corporate gigs or anything, do you have to tell them ahead of time? Do they know what they're getting sometimes, or do you adapt to a situation? Because with me, sometimes they go,
adapt.
They know what they're getting, right? So they go, you think they know what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a time where I would have my manager, like when I did the TED Talk that they then wouldn't post.
What?
That's what
I had my manager call back 3 different times and say, she just wants to make sure because she loves TED Talks, and she, I always watch them with my mom, and she just wants to make sure you know what she is and what she does. And I really, in earnest, like planned the whole 18 minutes. I was so excited, and it did well, and the crowd loved it, but yeah, they wouldn't post it for many years.
And can I ask why? I mean, why did they not want to post it?
I don't know, but it was a whole long drama where the head of the TED Talks,
Ted Sarandos,
who had called and like reassured me, we want you. It's about all different voices.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
Like, that was awful. He was like 1 million followers. And I was just like,
covering their ass.
Yeah, it was so shitty. He's apologized many times. since over the years because, you know, when you mess with a comedian, it's hard because then I was like, talked about it on like Real Time with Bill Maher. This was like 10 years ago, probably. You know, it murdered him. And he called my manager, was like, could we have a truce? You know, like,
sure. Of course.
Yeah.
You know, I did it in such earnest. And then like,
Sometimes someone will tell you at a corporate date, a CEO or something, oh yeah, you go blue, man. Go kid, you know, say fuck, whatever you want. You're like, well, okay, I don't even use fuck that much, but I dropped a few. And then the booker is kind of like, not good, man, not good. You know, I go, but the CEO told me to do it.
They're like, that guy didn't even work there. I've had people come backstage and go, just fuck around. And I go, what do you do here? He goes, oh, I'm friends with the guy that booked you. I'm like, oh, well, I don't know if I'm going to be going by you because you're leaving right after. And then I have to deal with, they don't want to pay you.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to disrespect anyone. Like those corporate gigs are like, you know, they suck. And I appreciate them so much because they're just like, it's like how famous people used to do commercials in Japan. Like it's just this hidden thing where you make money, you know.
And you make more than a regular gig, like 3 times.
The best you can do is like a C+. Then you walk out of there so happy.
Yeah, and they go, oh, we want you to be crazy. And then they're like, you know, upset when you talk about coming in God's mouth or something.
I know.
Oh, you had a bit on that too. I got one of those coming in God's mouth.
Okay, go ahead. Ask her something good, Dana.
I don't.
Something good.
Meow, meow.
I looked at your stuff today. I saw you on Conan in '93.
Oh my God!
And one thing that hit me is like
They talk like this.
You were so cute and so sweet and innocent. It was like it really was charming. But you were like 21 or 2. You started stand up at 17. So within 4 years, you're on television. That's pretty good. How did you How did you get that good that fast? A lot of people it takes 10 years. Were you headlining clubs when you went on Conan or?
No.
They just saw you at the Improv.
I was just doing set spots around town and stuff. But I got, you know, I'm from New Hampshire. But like I went to this high school where they had assemblies and they'd let me do like 3 minutes, you know, at assemblies and stuff. Or like my math teacher would let me tell like one joke at the beginning of class and then I had to be quiet, you know, and that was our deal. But when I moved to New York, I went to NYU and I just went for 1 year because I've always been a very good student. I've never not done my homework, you know, but then I was working at a comedy club, passing out flyers from like 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. every day. And then going to classes, and I was sleeping through my classes, and I'm not like that student. Like I was like pinching myself, trying to stay awake. I couldn't keep my eyes open, and my dad said, if you quit college, I'll pay your like rent and utilities. It's like $450 for the next 3 years. Like it's your sophomore, junior, senior year, and then you're on your own. So. Okay. It was a great deal because I did steal classes because I had all these like numbnuts friends that were like rich and going to NYU and didn't even want to go to classes, you know. So, then I could just really focus on stand up. And then by the time I would have graduated, I was working with you on Saturday Night Live. But you know, I mean, I was only there 1 year and then I got fired. And then for a while, I didn't know if I was in show business anymore.
Were you kind of like Woody Allen, Stephen Wright sort of influence in the early days, or who were you kind of looking up to as a stand-up when you started?
I mean, Steve Martin was my idol. Yeah. You know, like It's funny because in the house I grew up in, my room was like the attic, and on the ceiling in pencil I wrote "I love Steve Martin" with a heart around it. And it always was there. And then my mom died, and my sister sold the house, and the realtor came to one of my shows in Boston and brought me a picture. They redid the whole house, but they saved that one square of ceiling, so it's still there.
Wow, he was a big one for me too. I knew all the albums, and it was the first thing I was memorizing.
Oh my God. I just love him so much. But I don't know that I was like him. I don't know who I was. I imitated all the people influenced around me in the beginning before I
Dice. You remind me of Dice.
I took when I see my early stuff, I'm like, they talk like this today. I'm just really artist.
And the great one-liners,
really
though. Great one-liners, though, which I can't write. So when someone writes a great one-liner, like Woody Allen or Stephen Wright, those two, and you have that skill set. So
my mom had a Woody Allen double album where he's at like a nightclub. He says like, this watch is very special to me. My uncle on his deathbed sold me this watch.
Yeah, it's all that misdirection. Yeah, sure.
Oh, so they saw you. Had you done any gigs? Like when I was doing stand-up, I only got to New York once. My friend hired me to open for her company at something. Open for Ray Charles it was a corporate gig. I got $1,500. I bombed miserably, but I had never even been to New York. And then I went back. And then by the time I got SNL, I'd really maybe only been there twice. Were you ever going out west and doing gigs, or is everything's pretty much back east in stand-up, right?
No, I had done two things in Los Angeles. I did Comic Strip Live and Evening at the Improv. So they had like that tape,
Oh, I saw that. And was it Marcy, or who brought you in to see Lorne? Or did they just call you?
Marcy Klein or
Marcy Klein. I met with Lorne and Jim Downey in LA. I met with Lorne in LA because he was at Paramount, and I remember I had just read like Saturday Night, so I went into the meeting with Lorne and just asked him a million questions, and I feel like that was like a good move because he's a raconteur,
Yeah, sure.
And
you read the book? Oh, that's nice.
Chevy was always like that.
I remember I asked I go like, why are you're a performer? Like, why didn't you know what I mean? And then they invited me to the Coneheads premiere.
Nice.
And that's when I found out I was hired as a writer.
Oh, I was there.
And there weren't phones or anything. So I was like, I just went to the bathroom and sat in a stall and was like, I just want to call my mom,
Yeah, and you so they told you at the Coneheads premiere, and then you didn't know what to do with that? You're like, I can't even focus on this stupid movie. How fun.
Wow, so your first week there, who did you hook up with? Did you have friends right away, or someone you knew from stand-up, or were you like a lone
I was hired
island?
with David Tell and Jay Moore. I knew those two from stand-up. Mm-hmm. And Norm Macdonald's was hired too, who I loved, but I didn't know him well. And I got to know him there.
So you came in with 3 other newbies, right? So 4 of you that were coming in.
Yeah,
new?
but I was the first day. Lorne matched me up with these 3 writers who were also my age and new: Dave Mandel, Lou Morton, Steve Lookner, who's become like a right-wing. He found his little niche, and
Lookner. I remember
show business doesn't give you what you feel you have earned because you went to the Harvard Lampoon. It can make you bitter, and then you go, the right finds me real funny. But
I'll look
you know where the love is.
I'm fascinated. How do you spell that, Steve? Okay.
Oh, I know Lookner.
But anyway, he said, you all hang out. You're all 22, and they're all from Harvard. And we spent the whole day together. We went to the cafeteria, which I don't think I ever went to again. And at the end of the whole day of hanging out, I remember one of them was like, so what are you, like a typist? They thought I was one of the typists. And I was just like, no, I'm a writer like you fucking assholes. Wow, what?
They don't realize there was like a Mad Men room where there was 4 girls typing the sketches for you.
Yeah, computers existed, but not there. It was like you wrote in longhand on legal pads, and it looked crazy, and I can't believe anyone can follow it. And then these genius typists in a room of typists.
Claire,
like an army.
It was
they go through it. Ellie, Claire. I remember writing on those legal pads because you just had like a wooden desk and a legal pad, and they're like, okay, see it read through. And you go, what am I doing here? I don't even know how to write a sketch. I don't know anything. And you got to figure out as you go. I guess Dana was gone when you got there.
Yeah, he had just left. And I remember I saw you came back one day and you came down like an elevator that I had never seen before and got off of it. And I saw you walk with a few people and I was like,
really? A secret elevator?
He came back for a victory
to me it
lap.
was. No one tells you your way around. No one tells you how things work. Like, I remember I got my first sketch that I had written by myself on, and I was so excited. John Malkovich was the host, and it went great in dress rehearsal. And then this was my first time, like, having something. So then we're all sitting like on the floor in Lauren's office after dress. And I remember I was on the floor and Malkovich was sitting in a chair like next to me high up. And he looks down and he goes, I'm so sorry. I really messed up a line in dress. And I go, don't worry about it. You'll get it on the air. It'll be great. And Mike Myers goes, it's cut. Look, it's on the left side of that line.
He's like, it's cut.
I have no idea. Like, I just, no one tells you. You're thrown in, like.
Right. You walk in after dress and they had picked for the audience, they picked the sketches while you sweated out outside the door. And then they finally open it and go, you can go in. And then you walk in and you immediately look at the wall and like 3 sketches are moved out. Like they got cut, maybe an update piece.
I had no idea.
I'm saying,
that's how I learned that.
Right.
Yeah.
So you sit down and then you go, oh, look behind you, Sarah. It's cut. And no one ever goes, here's how it works. You walk in, you look, and then you still try to put on a brave face, even though you're not going to be in the show. And so you just sit on the floor while they do the whole meeting, and all you can think of is, I'm not even in this one. Why?
But
what am I doing?
it was like, I did enjoy being there. I mean, in a million years, I didn't know I was not coming back. So I'm like writing sketches for the next season. I'm thinking like, this is going to be my year. I don't know why. You know what? I never think I'm getting fired. Like even still, and I still do. I do all the time. I get fired a lot, but I still get fired for things. And like before anything even happens. But yeah, it had never occurred to me.
You're not a big compromiser, it doesn't seem. So you do your act, and I've seen you recently even go on, and I always just like to sit back and watch and see what you're coming up with. And it's always fun to see that you still try, you still work hard. I do the same thing when I do stand-up. I still like it. I still try. It's fun to get it back up there. And I like when you crawl on the piano. I like when you just have your own unique thing. And then your jokes are always so clever. I go, God damn, but at least it's not like, oh, this is this type of comedian that everyone's doing. You're always got your angle. And that's why when people might fire you, it's in a weird way a compliment, maybe 1% a compliment, but that they go, she's just thinking out of the box, which is what you want from someone, but they don't really handle it well. They go, no, we want the regular stuff.
You come off so confident, Sarah. I just wonder do you have situations coming up or in stand-up sometimes? Like for me, I just go Mayday, Mayday. I must kill, desperate eyes. Mayday. Not gonna do it. But you always seem, you know what I mean? Just like, wasn't that better? But you seem serene and confident. It's very pleasant to watch, and I think part of the reason your specials were so well received is because that you're not pushing ever. You're letting the audience come to you. I mean, is that intentional? It's just your nature, or because you do seem so calm and confident doing stand-up.
I mean, I don't really I don't feel that way, but I definitely have learned from so many people. Like when you said that, it makes me think of, I remember seeing Chris Rock at the comic strip years ago. And it was before he was who he is now, like pacing and louder and like, everyone changes and grows and, but he was quiet on stage and he'd go on and like the comic strip was like, it's like a zoo. Like the audiences are crazy, And he would just start and not be loud to get the audience to hear him. So it was like there was no desperation, and if the audience missed the first 2 or 3 jokes, that's their problem. And so they all got quiet and leaned in, and I noticed it. I was like, oh wow, he's so much more powerful being quiet than going like, I would be like, hey everyone,
Dogs are funny.
Down, you know, and that's like what a teacher would do. Like it's sweaty. Like an audience they don't know, they couldn't probably articulate this, but like an audience can smell desperation, you know?
Right.
So it doesn't help you to like, you've got to get yourself in a place where you're like, all right, not for everyone, but,
the last thing I always say right before I go out, if I remember it, is have fun. And I remember telling John Lovitzak, he credits me with coaching him, but I only gave him a couple tips, but it's very sweet about it. I said, John, remember, you got to have fun right before you go out. Thank you for saying that. It saved me so much time, you know. And the other thing was,
a huge difference to remember that. Massive.
You can forget in a second, and then you're 5 minutes in, and you realize I'm not having fun right now. What happened? You know, because you got
up on it.
They pick it up, but John also
if
said,
you're honest, they also like appreciate that. Like I feel like there have been a few times where I'm like, for some reason or whatever's going on in my life, and I'm not a big crier, I was like sobbing that day and thinking like, and then like thinking about how I have a spot that night, just being like, I don't feel funny, you know, like nothing's funny. And those are always nights I have good. You know what I mean? Like you're always surprised that you have a good set that night because there's something like cathartic comes out, or I don't know.
It's like when you're sick and you got to do a set. And then you have a great set because you go, I just got to do the set. I don't have to kill or not kill. There's no pressure. I'm just lucky I'm here. I have bronchitis, you know? So, but.
Oh, Sarah, I got a question. When you go up sometimes, Dana, she brings
Dana, and that might be an issue for you too later.
What did I do?
You did interrupt Dana.
I did, but I thought he was finished with his.
We like to interrupt each other. We feel it's a good energy.
Sure. David, okay.
David, go ahead.
My question is,
David Spade,
because this made me think of this, but we do it all the time. You have sometimes a notebook when you go up, or a pad, you know, and do you think sometimes it puts less pressure on jokes? Because I sometimes, rarely, but because I want to read it, I want to get it right. Like I'll just go, hey, I'm going to do this, and it's almost funnier to them that I have no belief in it, sort of. And then later I do it without it, and it doesn't work as well.
I'll tell you, I think that's I always bring a notebook because I think I have brain damage from so much like marijuana use, or I don't know, like I feel like I'm getting like I'm so terrified of getting dementia, but you know, and I want to just be able to be loose. But I can't be loose if I'm like reaching for like, you know what I mean? At a certain point when you're on the road, you remember everything. But I do concede that having a notebook gets you a lot of, because they feel like you're working on stuff that the jokes have a feeling of immediacy that give them a lot more credit for the audience. When it's something like, oh yeah, I'm looking at my notebook, but I do know this works, you know? Sometimes I don't know, but like, you know, but when you're trying new things, they always give you like 10 times more leeway, you know?
Well, I think wasn't it called the alt comedy, you know, and Largo, where you would comment on your act, you know, be very open. You know, the first time I played in there, first couple of times, I felt very uncomfortable because I was like a road comic from the 80s. And then I just had Nick Kroll interview me, or anything where I'd be tipped off just doing bits. And so I think that you're kind of one of the, you know, the leaders of that movement in a way, that authenticity, or at least that's the vibe I get. You know, the audience feels like you're being very, very real with them and not just doing bits.
Well, I always think like it's funny when either of you guys are like nervous at Largo, because like you kill at Largo. They love comedy. They're like, the great thing about the audience there is they're just huge comedy fans. They just want to like drink you up however you want to serve it, you know, but it's like, just because like what you do works on the road doesn't mean it won't kill at Largo. Like it has to be some experimental, like anti-comedy thing, or not at all. Like, you know, sometimes your heroes are in the wings, like Martin Short is there, or Bill Hader's going to watch me do stand up. People I really admire. And they kind of see they know how the rabbit gets out of the hat because you're sort of working. So I feel like in that situation, it's better to have loose notes. Here's what happened to me today, and go with it. But
I like that style. So that's what I do now, but not at a corporate date.
Flanagan's coming over at 12:30.
That's the guy from Largo. He runs Largo.
Yeah, Flanny. I heard you guys talking about him.
Yeah,
He's
great
so
guy.
sweet. Yeah, he's
Do
as
you
good as they
think
come.
on SNL, would you change anything when you were there? Because you only did a year. You didn't have a prep because you remember. I think I thought I was coming back too. Was there anything you could have done while you were there, or is it just the way it was going to be?
I mean, I think it's just the way it was going to be. I did the best I could for my age and my experience. You know, like
I know you're so young.
Very young. Did you do any update features? Because it seems like if you're coming in there and you're not acclimated,
I remember
you can
you reading
always,
some
because that's like
updates.
stand up in a way.
I did one update, but it was an update that like I had to submit. Like first it was in dress, and then it got cut, and then like, you know, people said like you can resubmit it or whatever. And then I remember Rob Schneider going like, I can't believe you're shoving that update piece down our throats again. And I was like, my heart just like went in my stomach, you know, like,
what are you
would
doing?
say
They don't
that?
want that. Come on. Gotta be original.
It's
Sorry,
got a stink
Rob
on
Schneider.
it. It's true to
yeah, like I didn't, and I wasn't, I was a kid and I felt like I was working with grownups. And then I felt like these grownups can be so mean. Like I didn't know grownups were that way, you know, because I had only been known grownups to be like friends' parents, you know, not like colleagues, you know.
If I got on that show at age 22, I never would have lasted. I would not have had the confidence or the experience to do it at that age. You know, Eddie Murphy did it. He was amazing at 19. That's still like a shooting star. I
Like a
can't.
one
There's
guy,
never been anyone that confident at 19. But yeah, but for you, I think it was just your age, because I think you should go back to that show
And I was
now.
so earnest. And I remember I wrote this sketch that like had some said something like, you know, I can't remember what it was, but it was like, had like, you know, it was about like
theme.
racism or something. I was
Right.
trying to like earnestly like use comedy to say something, and which is just not. And then I remember at one point I had Farley said like "no" or something like that, like the apostrophe OH, and he just went at the table where he just went "dough."
No. Was it a doy?
Do you think he took a dive, or did he do it on purpose?
100%.
Oh, that's
it was just like
horrible.
so.
What a
you know, it was just
stab.
whatever. But I think my best there was like on punch up nights, because I contributed well and like punch ups, and I was so in love with Jim Downey. It's like heartbreakingly in love with him. And, you know, he was like a, you know, and
Does he know about this, or is he hearing this from this podcast?
no, I'm sure. I'm sure I came on very strong in my own way, but he was like a grown up, you know. But I remember writing a sketch and saying like, "Can you help me with it?" And he said, "Yeah." And I think it was when Martin Lawrence was hosting, because his friend wrote there and was like, Bowman, or I don't know, I can't remember.
John
One
Bowman?
of Martin's friends.
Maybe one of Jim Downey's friends.
Oh,
so
okay.
then they were hanging out in his office, and he said, "Just wait outside my office until I'm done here." And I fell asleep, and then I woke up, and it was the morning, and he was just coming out, and I go, "Are you ready for me?" And he's like, "For what?" And I go, "I gave you my script," and he's like, I don't know, I don't have it.
Oh, Downey?
But I mean, you know, I love him though. I mean, of course, I still love him.
It's like a teacher. It's like you being like a college girl, and that's your professor.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim is definitely one of the smartest people I've ever met. I've met a lot of
Oh my
smart
God,
people.
I loved him so much.
Yeah.
And but it was a different time for sure. Wouldn't you say, David? A different time?
1,000%. I remember. Didn't you stab Franken for some reason?
I did accidentally.
I just read that.
Stabbed out Franken?
Okay, so I only for some
Like,
reason
okay.
sat next to him at table at Punch Up, and you know they had these really sharp pencils and a big thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like leaning back, and like I had my pencils all sharp, and he had like a really big like fro, you know, big Jewish hair. And I remember just like my brain was drifting, and I just thought like, oh, I could like stab this pencil through his hair. But what people saw was I just turned and stabbed him, and I hit his temple. And it looked insane. It looked like I stabbed him in the temple. And I remember him just going like, why? Sorry.
That's what he said. Why?
Yeah, that's what he said. Was, why? And I couldn't answer because I was laughing so hard and tears were pouring down my face, and I looked like a crazy person that just stabbed Al Franken and then laughed maniacally.
Oh man!
I couldn't like put into words like, oh, in my head it would go through your hair. You know, it was all crazy. There's no I'm not crazy way to explain that.
I wish I would overlapped with you for a year, because we could have. I would have had you on Church Chat. We would have had you on Wayne's World. We would have had you on Hans and Franz.
You think that now, but I don't
It feels
know.
like such a waste because you're such a smart writer that it just wasn't the time for you to hatch all these things. Because later in your life, I think your stand-up is also known for being very personal, and you say so many things about your life, and anything you're thinking, you pretty much say, it seems. So, or a lot of it. That's such
but you have to remember, like, I wasn't me now then.
No, I'm saying it's kind of
my
just...
My sketches are terrible.
It was undercooked.
They're not good.
Yeah, I think SNL now, like you're saying about racism stuff, SNL now does do a lot of personalized things, and they do a lot of political things, or what people are thinking, or people take a stand on stuff. But back then, like you're saying, it was a different time. Of course, on every front, it was sort of different. You know,
But I'm so exhausted with like things that have something to say, which I do like. But I love being just aggressively dumb and silly, more than anything.
I told someone, I was like, my comedy's not important. And in this day and age, it feels like it's got to be important. And then you go,
you know,
I'm just trying to get laughs.
Is important because your comedy is important because it's not that it's not lowest common denominator. It's genuinely both of you so belly laugh funny, and everyone can enjoy it. Like, it doesn't divide anyone, which is massively important. I think.
I mean, I appreciate it more and more all the time, because life beats the shit out of you. And you have people come up to you, and maybe if you're 35 or something, they say, I really needed that tonight. But now it resonates with me. So if you can get someone to belly laugh, because you can't worry and belly laugh at the same time. I mean, it's brain candy, like watching a great show or watching the movie Marry Me, which my wife and I love doing that movie.
Well, you know what's funny about that? It's so good that they held it for so long, because by the time it came out, you know, even like cynical fucks like us were like, yeah, I just want to feel good for an hour. Like,
really ready to watch that movie. Yes. Because of the pandemic and Ukraine or whatever. It was just like, and then you were just the perfect sidekick in the movie. Like, didn't every line just land perfectly? But anyway, do you want to talk therapy for a little bit?
Yeah.
OnlyFans. I'll give you top picks. I used to wet the bed too for your book.
You did?
Yeah, oh yeah. I was a champ.
For how? When did you stop?
You know, probably somewhere around 12 to 14, I think. The story I remember the most is there were 5 kids, 2 parents, and we're in a Cadillac driving through Montana, an old-fashioned Cadillac, and we couldn't find a hotel, so we had to sleep in the car that night. It was a 3-seater 1958 Cadillac. So I got the spot where the transmission goes, you know, behind the seat, the hump. I'm in a sleeping bag in the hump, and then the next thing I know, waking up, is I hear my brother and my mom looking down at me and talking about this giant wet spot on the sleeping bag. So like, yeah, I guess should we wake him up? I don't know. I wet the bed, and I'd heard that. And there was just no dignified way to get out of that wet bag. You unzip it, you stand up. Okay, you got to own it. But, you know, I never felt that bad about it, though, because I just thought I was just a heavy sleeper. I didn't feel shame.
It was
about
brutal.
You?
Like, sleepovers were terrifying. I just like pinch myself awake all night, you know, like, and I did have these friends that were twins, Lori and Amy Martin. They were my best friends, and they knew I was a bedwetter. So, you know, but I would really try, and like their mom would wake me up before she went to bed and like take me to pee and stuff. But so one night I remember waking up in Amy's room on my sleeping bag, and I had wet, and my heart was pounding. I didn't know what to do. So I flipped it.
Yeah.
So the circle was up, And so then when Amy came in, I go, I wet the bed, but it went up. So you don't have to tell your parents, like it didn't get on the floor.
Yeah. Sometimes you would just move over and sleep on the dry side. Yeah. And just let it go.
That feeling when you wake up and you're like, you feel warm and you're like, did I wet the bed? And then you'd have to move just a little bit. And if you felt that whoosh of cold air, you knew that you peed. It was like so awful. I remember my first sleepover party was at this girl's house, and the mother was a fucking cunt. And the worst thing was, this is actually in my musical. I have a musical opening April 30th in New York. And it's called The Bedwetter. And I'm not in it. It's the year I'm 10. So it's like this little girl. And it has this scene in it where I didn't know it was a sleepover. And then they're like, oh, you have to sleep over, And then I tried to tell my mom and they're all listening. And she's like, are you sure you want to sleep over? And I have to say yes, because they're on the other line, listening. And then I have to borrow pajamas. Her mother made her daughter, she was like a pageant mom. So I'm in these I'm 7 and wearing these sexy harem pajamas and sleeping in their sleeping bag. And I wake up drenched and I'm so horrified. Man. And I just am from having to go to sleepover camp every year, I had this mechanism of disassociation where I just got changed with all the other girls and it was wet, but it probably stank. I just didn't acknowledge it. And then Heather's mom walks in and she steps right in my wet clothes. Oh. And this is what a mother of 7-year-olds does. She picks up the wet clothes and she goes, who did this? And I'm just standing there out of body. And I swear to God, it's 1978 or I don't know when it was. And just as I'm thinking am I supposed to say something or can I I'm not going to. And then the father came in and went, Elvis died. And Elvis Presley dying saved my life because I was able to just get picked up and get out of there while they were so upset the king died.
God, that's one of those non sequiturs that Elvis saved that humiliation. Did you wet the bed every night then? Because mine was more interstitial, but it was fairly consistent.
It was a lot of the time, and it was until I was 15. And then a couple of times as an adult, when I got fired from Saturday Night Live, I remember I wet the bed 3 times in that week, and it was with 3 different men's beds. Oh wow! What? Yeah, because I liked sex. It was so new to me. I lost my virginity as a comedian. I was 19. So I was just after that, I loved it. And I was what do his balls look like? What do his balls look like? What do his balls look like?
Now, did you, were your friends like that as well at 19? Would you call yourself promiscuous at that point? Or
once when I lost my virginity at 19, through the year of being 20.
Yeah.
Yes, I kept Noxema in my backpack so I could wash my face wherever I landed. But I didn't regret it. I got a terrible reputation. I was a slut. Meanwhile, all the guys are fucking different waitresses every single night.
Well, yeah, there's a definite.
I loved these guys. I know all of them still.
That's it.
They don't. It's not something from my past because they're comedians.
Yeah, they're your friends now. Wow, that's cool. I like that. I always thought it was a double standard. Why do women, they have a one-night stand, they're a slut.
Oh yeah, I was the whore, but all these guys that fuck every waitress on the road were just cool, no problem. And they fucked all the same girls and...
Wow. So when did you, what are you looking for? Because just casually, we as a public are fans of yours. We sort of know your different relationships. And has it evolved who you look for, or is it whimsical, or are you out there, or are you currently in a relationship? Oh
no, I have a live-in love.
Okay. So how's it going?
Good. I love him. He's great. I really felt like I was at after my 20th year, I was just in back-to-back long-term relationships.
Right. So it was that one crazy year of just wanting to experiment, and then
I sowed my oats. I should have. I did everything right in my opinion, but Yeah, he's great. He's a writer producer. He's so funny, and I really was at a place where I was really felt done. Like I just feel like I don't want to. I love, but like I don't want to share my bed anymore. I really, I got to a place in the past few years before meeting him, like where I really became my own best friend, and I love being alone. I love coming home, and I love doing anything I want at all times and not disappointing anyone. I really was into it. And then we met over at the beginning of quarantine, like in the March 2020, over playing video games, like playing
online?
Call of Duty online.
Call of Duty online? Cool.
Yeah. So every night at 7:05, we would meet online and kill Nazis together. And, I knew him a little bit. We had mutual friends. He's a comedian and a writer. He was he ran the Daily Show with Jon Stewart for a long time.
Okay. And do you feel like you've matured or have more confidence in a relationship, or how have you evolved? Because
going into this one, it was really good because I know what I want and don't want. And I could be very clear from the beginning, and him too. And we both I love my exes. I have good taste in men.
I met several of them that you do have great taste in men.
I do. Yeah. And I love, they're like, they become like brothers, as but with the reason why they didn't work out, I don't know specifically each thing, whatever, but I always felt like I was disappointing. I tried, it's always my goal to be the best possible girlfriend. And yet I still felt like I had that feeling like I'm disappointing this person in some way. And I would never cheat. I have total blinders, not blind. I mean, in a good way. I would, if I'm with someone, I don't see other men in a sexual way at all. I'm very devoted, but somehow I would feel like, I'm disappointing. There was always something. So it's nice to be with someone that I can just say like, I'm at a point where this is how I want things. And he can say the same. And we talk about stuff. Is Spade not on? Where were you?
Where were you, David?
Did you have to make a sissy? Did you have to make a BM?
We see him. Do you hear us? We were just talking about relationships and love. And
I think I do. Sorry, Sarah.
Whatever.
It happens.
We were talking about pee and then everything.
You sound like you're drunk, so it's like...
Sarah, I'm so sorry that happened.
No, I'm kidding.
No, we had a situation here. I don't want the people... In room 29, there was
We're just talking about relationships and how Sarah's evolved and has a live-in lover, and how's that going? I've been married for 40 years, to 6 different women. But my point is this: I say that every week. My only joke I ever wrote, but I do think with mine it was conflict. Afraid of conflict. And then you bury the resentment. You're starting to carry anger around that you don't even know, because is this the anthill I die on right now, or should I let it go by? So both my wife and I had 5 years of therapy, so we're great. We were always good, but we're better. Yeah.
I mean, that's what Rory and we'd always go like face value. I don't want to be in a relationship where I have to decipher what you mean by what you say, or like, sure, no, that's fine. Oh, no, if I say it's fine, it's fine. And, it's my responsibility to say like, I have a problem with that, and not go like, okay, I mean, I just can't with that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so we just go face value. Like, what I say is what I mean. And that's how I would only expect you to take it, and it cuts out a lot of bullshit.
If you get into a place where you're actually both trying to open the door for the person and it's really organic, like I just really want to help my wife and she really wants to help me, and we're codependent in a positive way. If you have a narcissist and an empath and they get together, all hell breaks loose because the narcissist can't help it. They don't know they are, and they start to harvest and use and abuse the empath. So where are you on that gradient scale in your mind? You seem like an empath.
Well, the narcissist would say, I'm the empath, right?
Okay.
But it's so funny.
Maybe it's destructive though, too, but go ahead.
You know that book by Alice Miller, I think it's called Drama of the Gifted Child? It's big for a while. So I remember reading it, and I met with a friend for lunch, and I go, oh, I just read this book. It's called Drama of the Gifted Child. And she goes, oh, I heard a really interesting story about that. It's originally titled Drama of the Narcissistic Child, but they realized the people that would need to read it wouldn't. So they named it Drama of the Gifted Child. And then I was like a little deflated, and also like it really made me go like, oh, wow. Yeah.
But I would say just for myself, empathetic people can be dysfunctional and passive aggressive and people pleasing. Like I didn't even think that is self-congratulatory. And we all have a combo, but I did learn in therapy that, it's very, very good to try to get in touch with saying no and your inner narcissist. If you want some of that going, in other words, you draw boundaries. This is it. I won't take any more of this. And so that really helped me with that. Those kind of patterns from my childhood. Crazy parents, crazy everything. So.
It's funny. Somebody called into my podcast yesterday about sex workers, like just saying like, I don't know how to feel about like porn and sex workers. Like they should, do what they want, but aren't a lot of them have like really traumatic pasts and, and I don't know the answer to this, but I was talking about it. I go like, it's so funny because yes, they probably have common trauma, but so do comedians, so do actors, so do politicians. Yeah. They have common traumas that drive them to want to do the X, Y, or Z,
Yeah. All right, guys.
So, well, I want to mention Sarah Silverman's podcast, which I watch, and it's really fun on YouTube,
Oh my gosh.
So you've been doing that like during the pandemic, couple hundred shows or? That's
when I started. I was like, I couldn't do stand-up. I couldn't fathom doing stand-up on Zoom, and then I was like, I'm going to have to do a podcast because I didn't know where to put this or like to make a living is stand up,
Yeah. And keep your mind sharp by, improvising and stuff like that.
Yeah. I like it. I mean, the only thing about it is that it's never ending. I think I just did.
You don't get a bunch of episodes and then take a month off, or you're just consistently churning them kind of?
Like I just shot this show and I had to take 2 or 3 weeks off. So, but what I do is I talk forever and then they take out anything that can be evergreen and save it. So I do like stockpile stuff that isn't like from this moment. And then like when I go to New York to do the musical, The Bedwetter, which opens April 30th at the Atlantic Theater.
Based on your book. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
a little bit. Yeah.
1 year. And BB Newirth is playing my Nana.
Oh, nice.
She's incredible.
I was thinking she's too old to play 10.
Yeah, no, she's like a young, sexy Nana with a Boston accent.
And Sarah, you get calls on voicemail and then you listen to them and answer them, right?
Yeah. So we'll bank. I banked some when I did my last one. I did a ton of ads. The ads are a little soul killing, but I do look through them and if they really have a bad, Better Business Bureau grade or something, I say no, but I do a lot of them.
I kind of like doing them. I don't know why.
It's fun because you get to have be a broadcaster.
Yeah, they seem fun. Remember when Johnny Carson would hold up Alpo and stuff like that? It seems kind of just to go right at it. But it's really fun to watch that show. And your clothes change a lot, I guess, because they do edits. Because you have a blue shirt on, and then they do a cut, and then you have a yellow sweater on and stuff.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter with podcasts. Nobody cares. Mostly people hear it audio. If they watch it on YouTube, you'll see me in different outfits because it will be stuff from this week, that week, this week, more evergreen things will just be from other weeks where I just go and go and go, but, the calls are sometimes they're so sad. And and I have to remember, I have to try to be funny at some point episode. It was like, but I also was like, I'm so sorry your, grandmother.
Sometimes you're just giving
your
great,
asshole.
serious advice, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's funny because I did like this more political show on Hulu, and then I did a pilot for a political show on HBO, and again, I'm like shocked when they don't pick it up. I'm like, what? I always think I'm putting gold in their lap because I like it, but now I have no desire to do I just want to do dumb, silly stuff because I've got the podcast to talk about whatever I want to talk about, and
I agree.
I just want to laugh.
Big, silly stuff that's just, I watched the second Pink Panther because my mother-in-law was in town, loved slapstick with Peter Sellers, Revenge of the Pink Panther. And it was just seeing her laugh at 91 from Dublin, belly laughing, crazy. And then I started to do it, It's such a joy, those kinds of old-fashioned movies, just silly, big set pieces that are relentlessly... Everything that could go wrong does go wrong. And Peter Sellers with his whole thing. Anyway.
That's like Super Dave. Like he was like he was for me, like I never was really into physical comedy, but Super Dave is total physical comedy. And he made me laugh so hard.
Yeah, he was.
You knew what was coming, but it didn't matter.
There's something primal about it. Falling down and stuff,
Yeah, my niece sent me a video she took of my dad. She showed him like a Triumph, the Insult Comic Dog like special. Yeah. And I thought he was going to die. He was laughing so hard.
The Star Wars one or the dog show
I
one?
love the Star Wars one, but it was like a political special he had done.
Yeah, Robert Smigel strikes again.
Oh my God!
Yeah, those are funny. They're just so man.
He's talking to the guy in the Darth Vader thing, and he's like, "What does this button do? Call your mom to pick you up."
Yeah,
that's the best one. All right, we should let Sarah go. She's been a good sport.
She's got a big night tonight.
I do.
No, I don't know. I was just asking. What are you going to do after we finish this podcast?
Lanny's coming over to see my house because I just bought my first ever house.
Woo!
Yeah, so he's coming over and we're gonna have a little lunchy, and then walk the dogs. Whatever. Let's end it earlier when it was better. When I talked to Jonathan Katz, he told me a joke he had just made up, and it was so funny. He said, Sarah, I think we can all agree the worst people in the world are child pornographers. I go, yeah. And he goes, I think they should be prosecuted as adults. I just felt like that's such a perfect joke.
Yes. All right. Well, Sarah Silverman, David Spade. You got a joke, David?
No. I don't think so. Okay, ready? Here's a joke.
He's always got something.
I said it's the 90th anniversary. No. It's the 90-year-old couple.
Oh, no.
You know it?
No,
It's their 60th anniversary, and the wife wants to do something special. So she tells the guy to get in bed, and she's got a surprise for him. So the 90-year-old woman, she goes in the bathroom and gets naked, except for a cape. She puts on a cape. And then she pops out of the bathroom and gets to the foot of the bed and goes, "Super pussy." And he goes, "I'll take the soup."
All right, you got that one. All right, Sarah Silverman,
you've been a joy.
Everybody loves you. Just take that to your
I was
soul.
nervous to come on the show, and I was listening, and I wrote down something in case I didn't think of anything because I was listening. You're all talking about Saturday Night Live and everything, and I had written one thing down, which is not that, but it's. When I worked there, I was always like in the fourth row in read-throughs, like way in the back. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I hosted one time, and you get to sit right next to Lauren. And I have like a terrible sound sensitivity, misophonia, like mouth sounds and stuff that like make me insane. The whole read-through, Lauren is eating baby carrots. Crunch, 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 crunch. I was like out of body experience. Like it makes me like I can't even concentrate on anything else. I tried to like slide the platter away, like without anyone noticing. He pulls it back, crunch, 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 crunch.
And I remember he would do that, and occasionally I'd say, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, what's up, Doc?" Sorry, Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny. Lauren doing Bugs Bunny.
So stupid.
It's that thing of like you're chewing. That's funny. Audio, sensory, bedwetting, tactile, new live-in boyfriend, having fun.
We said it all.
We kind of did it all too. All right. Well, thank you,
right.
Sarah.
Okay.
See,
We'll end it on one of these. All right. Thank you, Sarah.
We have 5 endings.
bye.
Bye, Sarah.
Bye, hon.